There's this kid who found himself facing a wave of monsters, standing his ground even when things look bad. Someone called out, checking if Shen Qing-shun was set to step up for his country. He ends up standing in front of the military recruitment center again, a spot he's gotten pretty used to by now. He looked around, instantly recognizing the place. It didn't seem real, almost like his brain couldn't process it at first. It was the kind of moment that made you stop and question if you were really seeing what was right in front of you. He wonders if this is really the right moment. Out there, monsters are already showing up at the front lines. Everything around him starts to lose focus, like the world just faded into the background. The people in the crowd, their faces all blend together, none of them mattering to him right now. Suddenly, it all makes sense to him. He realizes he's got another shot. He's back, no longer stuck on that brutal battlefield. His eyes change, the fear disappears, and now there's a sharp determination in his stare, like nothing can shake him. He thinks back to when he handed over a pretty cool-looking gun, something most guys would say isn't the move. He remembered how things usually ended for the guys fighting up front. It wasn't pretty. He thinks back to the mess on the front lines, battling side by side with his friends. They didn't have much to work with, so they came up with a last-ditch plan. He stepped up for the dangerous mission, knowing he might not make it back. He was ready to put everything on the line, no matter what it cost him. There was a massive monster blocking their way, making it almost impossible for them to even think about getting out alive. While everything was going wild, his friend shoved him out of harm's way and stepped in instead. His friend went into that whole pep talk, saying stuff about how he was special and needed to step up. Shen just stood there, frozen. He watched everything unfold and couldn't do anything about it. His gut twisted as he realized he was completely powerless. The soldier rushed ahead, pushing himself forward even though things looked bad. He knew he didn't have much left, but he still went for it, not ready to back down. He turned himself into a weapon, charging straight at the beast like a missile, ready to hit it head-on. 1 second his friend was standing right there, and then, with a sudden burst of light, he just disappeared. He remembered the moment he got tossed backward, the ground below turning into a messy blur. He thinks back to their commander, standing tall in front of what was left of everyone. The guy's eyes looked tired, like he'd seen way too much. It was clear he had a lot on his mind, almost like he was carrying the whole world's problems with him. The guys stood in front of a swarm of monsters that had already taken over the world. The enemy's voice rang out, loud and cold, cutting through the air. He looked down on everyone, acting like they didn't deserve to even be there. It was the kind of thing that made a guy's blood boil, but also left a heavy weight hanging over the group, like they were being crushed just by his words. The leader stood his ground, not giving in. Even with everyone watching, he kept his head high, showing he wasn't about to back down. The way he acted gave the others a last bit of hope, like he was daring them not to give up. Even with everything falling apart around him, he promised himself that their final fight wouldn't go unnoticed, not even if the world went dark. Out of the crowd of monsters, a huge creature stepped forward, ready to face them. When nothing else seemed to work, someone decided the only solution was to drop 100,000 nukes. He pressed the button, and just like that, the world's last weapon was set loose on everyone. Everything around him was burning. Flames stretched as far as he could see, and the air felt angry and hot. The world he knew was disappearing in the chaos, leaving nothing but fire in its place. Suddenly, a blinding light exploded across everything, so bright it was almost impossible to see. In an instant, the whole planet just vanished, wiped out like it had never been there at all. For Shen, dying wasn't where things stopped. Instead, it was like getting thrown right back into the chaos, but this time everything hit even harder. His eyes flicker open, shining with a strange digital glow. Suddenly, a message popped up in front of him, showing a few different paths he could take for his future. He tightens his fist, realizing this is his shot to make things right. The images of what might happen slip away, and suddenly he finds himself back in the present, reality settling in again. The recruiter gets annoyed when he doesn't answer right away, making it clear he's running out of patience. Sun just stands there, not moving at all. The question still lingers, making everything around him feel tense and awkward. This time, though, he just flashes a confident smirk and answers differently. The recruiters just stood there, totally lost for words. They couldn't understand what he meant, and it showed all over their faces. He stands in front of the recruiter, his determination so clear you could almost feel it in the air. The man just stands there, totally thrown off. He can't even think of what to say. He's basically frozen, looking like he's lost all sense of control. He scrolled through Shen Qing-shun's impressive stats, his frustration growing with every achievement he saw. It just didn't make sense to him why someone that good would turn down the offer. Before he can say another word, interrupts, slamming his hand down on the registration form. The recruiter spots him and points him out, saying he's run away from what he was supposed supposed to do? Shen just stared back, his eyes cold and steady. He didn't look bothered at all, even with everyone pointing fingers at him. He just turns around and walks off, leaving everyone behind. People in the crowd start whispering to each other, thinking they know exactly what's going on, like always. There's a new guy standing in the crowd, checking out the main character. He's got this confident smirk on his face, like he already knows something everyone else doesn't. The observer just watched him with this annoying, smug look, clearly thinking he was above it all. He didn't bother hiding how little he thought of the guy, acting like he already had him all figured out. Just another fake trying to look like a good person. One girl standing in the crowd let out a quiet breath, secretly thankful she never told anyone about her crush. He doesn't really care what they think. Right now, he's got his eyes on something way bigger, a battle that actually matters. He walks away from the light, deciding to go off on his own, even if it means being alone in the shadows. Some guys in the crowd actually stick up for him, since people can change sides real fast when everyone starts piling on. Shen doesn't even notice the noise around him. He just keeps walking, not looking back, while everyone else fades into the background. He stops and turns around, a confident smile showing as he looks at them one last time. The recruiters stared at him, not sure what was going on. They started to wonder if he was about to back out or if something had made him rethink everything. His rival rolls his eyes, clearly thinking this is just another lame way to look good in front of everyone. Shen looks straight ahead, his eyes clear and steady. He doesn't seem sorry at all. Instead, there's this calm confidence about him, like he knows exactly what he needs to do next. He turns around to face everyone, standing tall and looking confident, ready to show exactly what he means. His words aren't for the crowd around him. Somewhere off in the distance, someone else is listening, someone he can't see, but he knows they're there. There was a guy with sharp green eyes, and you could tell just by looking at him that he had something important to do with the main character. Shen's son's grin says it all. It's like he and his friend just shared something only they get, a look that means they're in on something together. The new guy walks in, and right away, everyone can tell he's different. There's just something about the way he carries himself, confident, like he knows he's meant for something big. Even people who don't usually pay attention can't help but notice him. He talks about putting his strength into this new era where different powerful races are starting to show up. He couldn't stop thinking about what he had to do. He was determined to put an end to all the chaos before it could even start. It wasn't just about keeping things calm for himself. He wanted to make sure everyone else had a shot at a better life too. He promises himself that he won't let anyone else get hurt this time. The crowd stands around like always, everyone looking lost and staring with their mouths open. His rival just saw him as weak, yelling and throwing insults about him bailing on everyone. The rival stands tall, looking confident, ready to show everyone just how far he'll go for his state. He doesn't back down, making it clear he's in this fight all the way. While everyone else was just waiting around, he figured this was the perfect moment to show what he could really do. The recruiter loses his temper, his face turning red as he points a finger at Shen's back. A patriotic banner hangs above him, standing out as a quiet reminder of the responsibility he just walked away from. Shen had already left, making his way down the empty street while the afternoon sun beat down. He looked alone out there, just his shadow stretching long behind him as he walked on. Somewhere else, the man with the green eyes finally decides it's time to act. He quietly turns on his own system, getting ready for whatever comes next. He makes up his mind and decides to go down the road of the Divine Hundred Slayer. He feels energy rush through his whole body, lighting him up with old, glowing symbols that wrap around him. He realizes that when things get dark, not everyone will have someone to guide them or light the way. Right then, he decides he's going to be the one who stands out, the one everyone looks to when things get dark. The story moves over to the huge campus at Imperial University. Wide paths cut through big green lawns, and students are scattered everywhere, some rushing to class, others just hanging out under the trees. The buildings stand tall and impressive, making it clear this place means business. Life around here just keeps moving like normal. Nobody has any idea about the trouble that's on the way. The students hang out together, messing around and just having fun like always. They're not really thinking about anything serious, just enjoying the moment, joking around, and making memories while they can. At the recruitment center, the officers were starting to wrap things up for the day. They went through their usual routine, making sure everything was in order before heading out. Some checked their phones, maybe scrolling through messages, while others packed up their stuff, ready to call it a night. The place felt quieter as everyone got ready to leave. The day isn't done yet. As the sun starts to set, someone new shows up, walking toward them through the fading light. There was a woman standing there, her presence impossible to ignore. The scars on her hands made it clear she'd seen her fair share of fights. She looked tough, like someone who'd been through a lot and came out stronger on the other side. Everyone in the crowd suddenly goes wild when they spot. He's not just anyone. People know him as a legendary war hero and a mentor to a lot of young fighters. The energy in the place shifts, with guys elbowing each other and pulling out their phones, trying to get a better look at him. Even the ones who pretend not to care can't help but glance over, knowing they're in the presence of someone who's actually done something epic. She looks serious, like someone who's been through a lot on the battlefield. Her eyes show she's not easily scared, and you can tell she's dealt with some tough stuff before. Suddenly, the girl who used to ignore him started crushing on someone else. The recruiters stood at attention, showing respect to Commander Q as she approached. They were all set to pass on their responsibilities, making sure everything was in order before stepping aside. Commander Q takes in what's happening and responds right away, calm but clear. She looks over the list of new recruits, her eyes scanning each name carefully, trying to figure out who might stand out. The list comes out and Shen Qingsun's name sits right at the top. Right beside his name, there was a single red X. That X meant he said no to joining. She squinted, not really believing what she just heard. Someone had actually said no to joining the fight in the upcoming war. She glances up, her eyes searching for Shen Qingshun, the name hanging in her mind as she wonders if it's really him. The recruiter nodded, letting her know she was right. He went on to explain that the young guy had turned down the chance to join up. They talked about how they'd tried before and didn't get anywhere, thinking he was just dodging them because he was too scared to face the situation. The rival doesn't waste a second. He jumps in and spins Shen's words, making it sound like Shen's just trying to back out because he's scared. Right after, more people jumped in, calling him out for acting full of himself and not showing any respect for the war heroes. Commander Q stood quietly, the fading sunlight casting long shadows across her face. No one could really tell what was going through her mind as she listened, her expression calm and impossible to read. The glow of the evening made her look almost distant, like she was lost in thought or just keeping her true feelings hidden. Her expression turns cold. She gives a strict order, wanting everyone to see what happens to someone who runs away. The recruiters just stared at her, caught off guard by how serious she sounded. The rival, on the other hand, is totally into it, wanting to know every single detail just to get people even more fired up. Someone else jumps in, quick to call out the guy who looked strong enough to fight but just stood back and did nothing. Insults start flying around, and suddenly everyone's talking about how the country's student is just hiding in the back like he's scared. Commander Q keeps her eyes steady, already sure about what needs to be done. Everyone around her straightens up right away. No one wants to mess around when someone like her walks in. She's got that reputation. People just know better than to step out of line. Word got around fast, and as it did, rain started to pour, soaking the quiet campus. The place felt even emptier than usual, with water running down the walkways and nobody in sight. Rain poured down hard and Shen moved through the empty streets by himself. His clothes stuck to his skin, but he didn't slow down. People barely looked at him now, and if they did, it was with that cold, distant stare. In a city that used to feel like home, he just kept his head down, ignored the looks, and kept walking. He's not only turning down the army, he's walking away from everything he used to know. People kept talking about him, their voices chasing him through the rain. Each step he took felt heavier, like everyone was watching and judging, even though no one said anything to his face. The rain didn't help, it just made everything feel colder and lonelier, like he couldn't escape what everyone thought. Word got around fast, thanks to his rival. Everyone heard that Shen was the only student who didn't answer the call. He's honestly stunned that the academy's top student is now being called a deserter. He keeps moving forward, not bothered by the rain, while a weird light slices through the heavy downpour ahead. The light shines right at him, cutting through the quiet night. It's almost like it's calling out just to him, making him stand out when everything else feels empty. An old man showed up, looking at him with disappointment. He made it clear he thought the guy was too young and didn't have enough guts. The old man's attitude was all judgment, like he expected more and wasn't impressed by what he saw. Shen doesn't look away. His eyes are fixed, cold, and determined, like he's already made up his mind and nothing's going to change it. The old man quietly pulls out a small device, something he's been hiding in his hand. As soon as it appears, the weird energy around Shen starts to pick up, growing stronger and swirling in the air. The old man kicked him out of the building and made it clear he wasn't welcome back. He thinks to himself that his own school would be embarrassed to have a student like this. A car rolls up and stops. The door swings open, offering a way out of the rain. Shen climbed into the car, ready to head out. He set his sights on the back lines of the battlefield, knowing exactly where he needed to be. The driver, someone he didn't recognize, took a quick look at his ID before starting to drive. He wonders why a guy who looks perfectly healthy would be walking toward a shelter. Shen's cold green eyes stared right at him. He didn't bother making excuses or acting friendly. Just straight up let the guy know he wasn't on break. Nothing more, nothing less. Just clear and to the point. Rain poured down, blurring the city lights as the car sped through the empty streets. Inside, the guy everyone was searching for, the one who ditched everything, sat quietly, watching the water streak across the windows. He finally let everyone know why he was really there. He had to get some important info to the guys holding the back lines. The driver just sits there staring at the boy. All the things he thought he knew about him, gone. He can't even process what he's seeing right now. When the news started spreading, everyone saw him as the guy who ran away from his problems. His name was all over social media, and people just assumed he couldn't handle real life. The driver glared, his face scrunched up, making it obvious he wasn't impressed. He hits the brakes hard, and the car jerks to a sudden stop. The car screeched to a stop on the wet road, tires sliding a little as the rain kept pouring down. He loses it, his anger boiling over as he kicks Shen out of his car. His words cut through the noise of the storm, making it clear he wasn't asking, he was telling. No one even thought about talking back. The driver's face shows up in the mirror, looking seriously annoyed. His eyes light up, sharp and intense, showing just how much he cares about his country. Shen's eyes stay cool and focused, matching the steady rain tapping against the window. He just sits there, staying calm while the driver keeps freaking out. Even though things are getting tense, he doesn't move or say anything. He's made up his mind and isn't letting the driver's outburst get to him. Shen doesn't even flinch. He just reaches into his bag, totally calm, knowing exactly what he's about to pull out to handle the situation his way. He throws down a fat stack of cash, letting the money do the talking while the driver glares at him. The driver grabs the cash midair, stopping whatever rant he was about to go on. He looks at the money in front of him, and just like that, his anger starts to fade. The car's tires screeched as it suddenly jerked forward, getting back on track. They head out into the night, cruising away from the city lights and all the people who might be watching. About 2 hours later, they pull up to a checkpoint. There's a big banner stretched across the road, letting everyone know they're about to leave the safe zone. There's another sign up ahead, warning people about monsters that hang around these roads. The driver isn't acting tough anymore. Now he's all serious, gripping the wheel tight, eyes locked on the road like he knows things could go bad fast. Shen Qing-sun doesn't let anything show on his face. He just keeps his eyes locked on the battle in front of him, focused and steady. The news kept going, making Shen look like he'd let the whole country down. The driver checks his phone, and with each message, his face gets more serious. He scrolls through an article on his phone. It talks about how awesome war heroes are, but totally trashes the person sitting next to him. His eyes narrowed, and that same burst of pride he felt earlier came rushing back, only stronger this time. His burst of anger doesn't last long. Out of nowhere, something slams into him hard, stopping him in his tracks. He gets tossed out of his seat, everything around him suddenly out of control. The room feels like it's flipping, and for a second he can't tell which way is up. Glass crunches under his hands as he looks up through the busted windshield. That's when he spots what made them crash. Out of the shadows and pouring rain, a massive beast steps into view. It looks kind of like an ape, but way bigger and way more intimidating than anything anyone's seen before. The thing stares without a face, almost like it's letting him know things are about to get really bad. There's no sign of mercy in the way it looks at him. It's clear this isn't going to end well. The driver gets yanked out of the car so fast, all that proud energy he had before doesn't matter anymore. The beast swings its massive arm and sends the driver flying out of the way, not even breaking a sweat. He drops to the ground, his loud talk about the country cut off instantly. Systems scanned the creature and let him know it was a high-level devil ape. He wonders how a monster this strong ended up so far behind the front lines. He notices that ever since he came back, the invasion is happening way sooner than he expected. There's no time to sit around surprised. He has to move fast because something inside him just switched on. His power is waking up, and everything else fades into the background as he gets ready for whatever's coming next. He clenches his fists, ready to face the beast on his own. His eyes lit up, shining with a strange, bright glow that didn't look normal at all. His grin gets wild, spreading across his face. He looks like he's about to pull off something crazy, excitement lighting up his eyes. He isn't scared right now. This is the excitement he gets when a fight is about to start, the kind he's been waiting for. He calls up a sword made of bright energy and swings it down at the monster. Shen throws everything he's got into the hit, pushing his new strength as far as it'll go. The devil ape tightens up, ready to take the hit. Its face twists with surprise, not expecting what's coming. The attack lands right on target, lighting up the monster's tough skin with a bright flash. The colossal beast gets launched backward, totally outmatched by the force. The object hit the pavement hard and slid across the wet ground, rain splashing up around it. The devil ape isn't done yet. It starts to get back up, moving slowly but looking determined. Somewhere else, the guy with green eyes watches the action, a slight grin on his face as he notices how tough the beast is. The monster turned to face. In its chest, something strange started to build up, like it was charging up for something big. Could tell things were about to get even more intense. The creature lets out a loud roar, getting ready to strike back hard. The green-eyed man suddenly notices the beast acting weird, like it's getting ready to blow itself up. Just as the ape gets ready to strike one last time, something new appears on the field, a dark shape moving in, catching everyone's attention. Right when it tries to make a move, a huge set of jaws snaps shut around it, stopping it cold. The devil ape doesn't get any last words or glory. It's eaten up, gone for good. Its roar fades out, leaving nothing but quiet behind. Shen stood in front of the real danger now, a massive beast that looked just like a wolf, only way bigger than any normal animal. The creature stands there, growling, its breath turning into white mist in the freezing rain. The creature steps into the open, showing everyone what it really is. A giant lion, way bigger than any normal animal, with flames burning all around its mane. The guy with the green eyes stands there with a smirk, looking like he's totally in control of whatever this new creature is. He stands in front of his massive companion, looking over everything like he owns the place. His big entrance didn't last long. A girl showed up, holding an umbrella, and told his pet to start healing. Just like that, the spotlight was gone. The green-eyed guy just stands there, not sure what to do now that his big entrance has been totally ruined. Turns out the one actually controlling the beast is a woman holding a red umbrella. She stands on the creature's head like she owns the place, totally in control. It's like she's got the best seat in the house, looking out over everything, steady and confident. With just one word, the huge beast drops to the ground, calm and obedient, almost like a trained dog. She touched down lightly in front of Shen, barely making a sound as the rain seemed to split and move aside just for her. She says sorry and tries to explain herself. Turns out her five-tailed beast just got a little hungry. Sun didn't say anything. He just watched the new guy, trying to figure out what he was all about. She decides to make it up to him in a way that's pretty personal, trying to smooth things over after taking his win. He doesn't even flinch at her bold move. It's like he's seen it all before, barely reacting as if this kind of thing happens to him all the time. She tells him this is all she's got to give. Shenzhen's son watches the mysterious woman, noticing how she won't look up and keeps her eyes glued to the floor. He can't help but notice how she always looks down, never making eye contact with him. It's got him thinking, why does she act so quiet around him? Even though she seemed shy and kept to herself, he could tell there was something powerful about her. It was like her quietness hid a strength that most people wouldn't notice right away. She controls a beast powerful enough to take down a devil ape. He can't shake the feeling that she's hiding even more, wondering what else she might be keeping from everyone. He breaks the awkward silence and just asks what her name is. Li Wanwan glances up, caught off guard. She quickly shares her name, still a bit unsure but trying to play it cool. He doesn't pick up any bad vibes from her, so he figures it's smarter just to head out. He doesn't turn to leave. Instead, he reaches out and grabs the umbrella from her hand. He puts his hand over hers. It's nothing big, just a small move, but it completely throws her off. She wasn't ready for it, and now she can't hide how nervous she feels. She finally looks up, her face showing how confused and surprised she is. He takes the money from her and gives a nod, letting her know he'll bring the umbrella back whenever he gets the chance. Li Wanwan just stands there, frozen. Her cheeks turn red, and she doesn't know what to do. It's that awkward moment when you want to say something, but nothing comes out. She looks around, hoping no one else noticed how flustered she is. Her five-tailed beast clearly isn't happy about what's going on. It lets out a loud, angry roar, making everyone nearby tense up and pay attention. Shen Qing's son gives one last look over his shoulder, his face steady and chill, before he heads out into the night. The huge creature kept growling, its eyes stuck on the hero, watching his every move. The guy with green eyes stands back, watching everything unfold. He locks eyes with the beast, noticing how intense and fierce its gaze is. But then it hits him, what he's picking up on isn't anger at all, it's fear. Shen's son keeps moving forward, his figure fading into the wet, shadowy woods as the rain comes down harder around him. The beast let out another roar while he tossed the umbrella over his shoulder, not even bothering to look back. The guy with green eyes grins, clearly entertained by the weird, unspoken standoff happening between them. The five-tailed beast looked down at the green-eyed guy. Its huge body shook, making it clear that something about this dude had it on edge. Even though he usually acts all tough, now he's awkwardly messing with the umbrella like he has no clue how it works. Rain poured down hard, soaking everything. The red umbrella slipped from his hand and hit the ground, left behind as he hurried off, not even caring that he was getting drenched. The huge creature pulls back, now just as scared of stand-in as it was of himself. The storm kept pouring down, heavy rain pounding the ground and wiping out any signs that anything weird had happened there. Li Wanwan stands there by herself, looking like everything she thought she had together just fell apart. She stands alone in the middle of the empty road, looking unsure and out of place. With nobody else around, she looks like she doesn't really know where to go or what to do next. Rain hammered down all around as the green-eyed man stepped forward. Even with the heavy downpour, his voice stood out, reaching her through the noise. She snaps out of it, spins around, and takes off into the night. She shows up at a secret outpost, walking up to this tough-looking commander with scars on his face. The place feels serious, and it's clear she's there to give him an update. The commander wants to know why she left her spot without telling anyone. Everyone knew him as Commander Wu Qin. He had 3 stars on his uniform and was one of the top fighters out there. People around him always seemed to look up to him, knowing that he played an important role on the team. Li Wanwan keeps her eyes on the floor. There's a stubborn look on her face, but you can tell she's also embarrassed. Behind her, the five-tailed beast showed up, its eyes locked on everyone around. It didn't make a sound, but the way it bared its teeth was enough to let everyone know she wasn't messing around. Commander Wu kept going, clearly upset as he pressed her about why she walked away from the fight. She stayed quiet, standing alone while he got mad. The tension in the room felt heavy, and she just kept to herself, not saying a word. One of the guys working for him steps in, thinking she's probably realized her mistake by now. But then the commander suddenly changes his attitude and tells him he's getting moved to a permanent spot in the back. He jokes around, making fun of the soldier by saying he should just join forces with a deserter from the university. The soldier steps back right away. A solid threat is usually all it takes to keep someone in line. Commander Wu kept talking, clearly annoyed, as he promised himself he'd let the higher-ups know she'd left her spot. He stands in the middle of the storm, his eyes locked on Lee. There's a look on his face that says he's not messing around. He's made up his mind. Lee's in for it, and there's no way he's getting out of what's coming next. The wind whips around, but nothing can drown out the seriousness in the air. As he talks, something weird starts to happen. His hands start sparking with this strange energy, like static building up before a storm. The commander stops in his tracks, like something heavy just landed on his shoulders. He can barely move, and it's like the whole room got 10 times heavier all at once. He glances up and spots a small, glowing spirit drifting down from the storm clouds above. The tiny creature suddenly blasts out a wave of energy that knocks him off his feet, sending him flying backward. He just stands there frozen as the hit lands. The reality sinks in, and he can't help but tear up, not sure how to handle what just happened. His eyes went wide, showing just how surprised he was by the sudden attack. While rain poured down everywhere, Li Wanwan just stood there, somehow staying totally dry. The commander just stands there, frozen, as it finally hits him where all that power really came from. The five-tailed beast charges ahead, moving so fast it's almost impossible to keep track of. Its fur whips around as it barrels forward, looking totally wild and unstoppable. The creature's eyes lit up with a fierce glare, making it obvious to the commander that it wasn't messing around. It looked ready to defend its ground, and anyone could tell it wasn't about to back down. Rain poured down as the commander suddenly got hit with a burst of energy, knocking him off balance. He staggered back, barely keeping his footing on the slick ground, his mind racing to figure out what just happened. He finally realizes what the creature is. It's that legendary beast everyone talks about, the one known for its insane power. While everyone else was caught up in the chaos, someone holding a red umbrella quietly slipped out of the scene, moving further away as the action kept going. The green-eyed guy, who had just messed up trying to grab it, seemed to have gotten himself together now. He looks back, trying to figure things out while also wondering what might happen next. He stands there, eyes locked on another huge creature as it rises up into the stormy night sky. The wind tugs at his clothes, and the flashes of lightning make everything look wild and unreal. He can't help but stare, caught up in the moment as the creature disappears into the clouds. He sees what's happening and knows the war of species is already on. The groups fighting are strong, and it's clear things are getting serious fast. He thinks for a moment, then turns his back and heads off, slowly fading into the heavy rain. The guy with green eyes keeps walking, holding his umbrella tight. He walked up to the bus stop, noticing the sign that pointed to the rear guard. He stands by himself in the heavy rain, lost in his own thoughts. He starts to notice that things around him are different now, and it's clear that coming back has changed how everything is unfolding. His system popped up, showing the exact amount of experience he got from beating the devil ape. He keeps his eyes locked on the road in front of him, already thinking about his next move. He stands alone in the rain, waiting for his ride. The wind pushes against him, and his hoodie is already soaked, but he just checks his phone and keeps looking down the street. All he can do is wait, hoping the car shows up soon. The bus pulled up at last, headlights cutting through the dark and rain. He climbs onto the boat, not looking back at the storm raging behind him. Even someone who looked all-powerful and mysterious still had to pull out some cash for the bus ride. The guy with green eyes sits on the bus, looking around at all the tired people slumped in their seats. A news report comes on, talking about how one of the university's students decided not to join the army. The anchor's tone is harsh, making it clear he thinks what happened was weak and underhanded. The man stays cool, not letting anything show on his face, even when the news accidentally flashes his picture on the screen. The boy spots someone he's seen before on his phone. He points, surprised that the person from his screen is actually right there in front of him. He looks over at his grandma, curious about the man everyone keeps staring at on the bus. He wants to know why people are calling that guy a deserter, not really understanding what it means, but sensing there's something people aren't saying out loud. His grandma let him have it, making it clear that the man's actions were nothing to be proud of. She wanted everyone to know that this was not the kind of person worth looking up to. She steps in and pulls the boy in, putting herself between him and the guy everyone whispers about. She stands firm, making it clear she's got his back, even when others aren't so sure. The passenger's face tightens up, frustration building as he watches the man stand there with some weird thing in his hands. He pulls out his weapon, not saying a word, but everyone knows what it means. The whole crowd is against him, judging him before he even gets a chance to explain. An old man, leaning on his cane, moved up to face the guy everyone thought had run away. The older guy points to a chair, his voice steady but clearly ticked off. He isn't yelling, but there's no doubt he means business. The younger dude gets the message and sits, sensing this isn't the time to push back. He reaches out his hand, doing something nobody saw coming. The green-eyed guy just shakes his head and lets the old man take the seat instead. He's not rude about it or anything. He just thinks the older folks should sit down first. He gives a quick thanks, but his smile says there's more going on than he lets on. He helps the old man find an empty seat and makes sure he sits down safely. But then out of nowhere, some weird energy hits, and the old man just freezes. He can't move or say anything, totally caught off guard. The argument finished. The green-eyed guy slides his hood over his head and disappears into the darkness, blending in with the shadows like he was never there. He quietly slips the weapon back where it belongs, acting like nothing had happened, even though everyone around him is still tense. He reaches into his pocket and takes out 2 small metal bolts. They don't look special, just regular pieces of hardware, the kind you'd probably overlook if you saw them lying around. He slips into the shadows, a small, confident smile playing on his face. He blocks out everything around him, not bothered at all by what people think. The old man stands there trying to catch his breath. Something weird is running through his body, making him unsteady and confused. He looks down at his hands, not sure what just happened, and tries to steady himself, but it's clear he's still feeling off. He stands there frozen for a second, but his face changes fast. Anger takes over, and he just loses it, yelling at the kid who's been pushing his buttons. He tells the driver to pull over right away, not willing to stay on the bus for even one more moment. The driver nodded and made it clear he wasn't about to let guys like that ride his bus. The other passengers start backing each other up, all annoyed and standing their ground. The driver lets out a deep breath, clearly frustrated, but finally goes along with what they want. The bus slowed down and stopped at the side of the road, bringing everyone's ride to a halt. Public transportation seemed like something only the so-called patriots got to use. The passengers kept going, talking big about how brave they were. Each person tried to sound tougher than the next, making sure everyone heard about the guts they claimed to have. Their patriotic rally doesn't last long. Out of nowhere, a strong gust of wind sweeps through, catching everyone off guard and forcing the crowd to stop what they're doing. Umbrellas fly out of their hands as something huge drops down from above. The storm they had been watching before was nothing next to the one rolling in now. This new one looked way more intense, and just looking at it made everyone uneasy. The sky was getting darker by the minute, and the wind was picking up, letting them know something big was coming. Everyone in the crowd just stands there, frozen. All that confidence they had a second ago is gone. Now nobody knows what to do or say. The old man stands completely still, unable to move. Fear takes over, and his body just doesn't respond the way he wants. His eyes open wide, and for the first time he really sees what war looks like. All those talks he had before don't seem so exciting now. Li Wanwan's 5-tailed beast hit the ground hard, making the whole place shake. Its roar was loud enough to make anyone nearby stop what they were doing and pay attention. It's not by itself. There's a little glowing spirit floating right above it. Everyone could tell the crazy pressure in the air was coming from that tiny creature. Even though it looked harmless, it was definitely the reason everyone felt on edge. The 5-tailed beast showed itself, towering over the city with its tails whipping through the air. Against the skyline, it looked massive and dangerous, making anyone nearby freeze for a second. Its presence alone was enough to let everyone know things were about to get real. The tiny spirit drops fast through the pouring rain, heading straight for the street below. When it lands, the impact is intense, sending a sudden wave of energy down the road and grabbing everyone's attention. The old man's anger disappears in an instant, leaving him frozen with fear. The so-called patriots hit the ground, completely overwhelmed by a force way beyond what they understand. He notices he can actually move, which surprises him since just a second ago, he felt frozen by fear. All they can think about is getting away, scrambling as fast as they can back to the bus. The driver, who had been on their side before, suddenly turns his back on them and leaves them to deal with everything on their own. Inside, the man with green eyes stands back, watching everything happen. He doesn't seem to care much about what's going on, just taking it all in without showing any real emotion. The kid who called him out finally realizes what they've really started. Now, he can see just how serious things have gotten. The boy glanced up at the quiet guy, trying to figure out if he was the one who had their backs earlier. The guy with green eyes just looks back at him. He doesn't say anything, and it's hard to figure out what he's thinking. The kid's eyes go wide, his whole face lighting up like he's just met someone straight out of his favorite game. In that moment, he really believes he's standing in front of a real-life hero. He pushes the guy to come clean and let everyone know what really happened, hoping it'll set the record straight. His grandmother quickly pulls him away, making sure he doesn't get any closer to the deserter. She acts like just looking at him is a total waste of time, barely giving him a glance before turning away. The boy tries to break free, yelling and making it clear that this man is the one who saved everyone. Everyone else on the bus starts laughing. Most people just go along with whatever the crowd is doing, not really thinking too much about it. The green-eyed man just stands there, barely reacting to anything going on around him. His face is blank, almost like he doesn't care at all. No matter what happens, he stays completely still, almost like nothing can get through to him. He glances out the window, his mind drifting to bigger problems waiting for him outside. The green-eyed guy narrows his eyes, his whole vibe changing. He looks more determined than ever, like he's made up his mind and nothing's going to stop him now. He sits by the window, watching the city lights streak by outside. Alone in his seat, he stares out, lost in his own thoughts as the world rushes past. He holds onto the red umbrella, squeezing it tight. All his focus goes into that simple thing in his hands. His eyes light up, showing just how intense things are getting inside him. He pressed the umbrella's tip against the ground, and suddenly a burst of energy shot out. Energy gathers together, lighting up inside the car like a signal that flashes and spreads everywhere. A glowing barrier wrapped around the bus, keeping everyone inside safe as the world outside started to get wild. The car moves fast under the dark sky, headlights cutting through the shadows. Inside, it's calm and quiet, like nothing outside can touch the people riding in it. Monsters might be out there somewhere, but for now, the car feels like the safest place in the world. Meanwhile, outside, something dangerous was on the move. It soared through the air, its red eyes locked onto its target, ready to strike. The way it looks at him says everything. Danger's coming, and there's nowhere to run. Something about it just screams that it won't stop until it gets what it wants. From the shadows of the trees, a huge creature with horns stares at the bus. Its red eyes don't blink, just locked in on the people inside. Up in the sky, that same winged creature is gliding around, taking its time and watching everything below. The creature drops out of the sky fast, its fur and feathers blending together as it zeroes in on what it's after. The storm kept going, rain pouring and wind howling, making it easy for things to get out of hand without anyone noticing. The driver freezes, eyes wide, gripping the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles go white. His heart pounds in his chest as the huge monster drops closer, way too fast for him to do anything but sit there and watch. The bus just keeps going, like nothing can touch it. There's some kind of shield around it, but nobody can actually see it. Somewhere else, a line of army trucks made their way along the rough mountain roads. The soldiers inside looked out at the steep cliffs and winding paths, staying alert as the tires crunched over loose gravel. Every turn demanded their focus, and nobody wanted to be the guy who messed up on roads like these. Armored trucks rolled down the wet streets, their headlights cutting through the rain as they moved toward the chaos up ahead. Commander stands inside, staring out with a serious look on his face. The weather outside is rough, and his mood matches it. He's tense and clearly got a lot on his mind. He checks over a report, keeping his hands steady even though the ride is bumpy. The file showed that the girl's name was Lee Wan. She was 17 and known for having some seriously strong abilities. His teammate looks over at him, clearly worried after seeing what just happened. Commander Wu tries to brush it off and act like everything's normal, but deep down he knows he can't just let this slide. He realizes he needs to let the others know about what happened, and he's already thinking about who to tell first. He made up his mind to make sure Lee Wan faced the consequences for standing up to him, no matter how strong she was. The convoy kept moving forward, even though the weather outside was brutal. Inside the vehicles, everyone felt on edge, glancing at each other and out the windows as rain hammered down. No one relaxed. The stress in the air was almost as heavy as the storm outside. The soldier came back and let everyone know that the winged monster was finally gone. The commander still looked mad, his irritation clear on his face. He sighs, still thinking about what just happened. The memory sticks with him, not fading away yet. He knew for sure he never wanted to run into that creature again. Seriously, who would want to mess with something like that? He realized that the way it stared at him was scarier than any monster he'd faced before. When they got there, his subordinate figured he'd try to talk things out with Lee Wan. Commander stands there, his face calm but his eyes sharp and cold. He's holding back his anger, not letting it show on the outside, but it's clear he's still really mad. It's the kind of anger that doesn't explode. It just sits there, waiting, making everyone around him uneasy. Meanwhile, somewhere else, a woman talks about how these summoned creatures are actually just another group involved in the war. Back in the convoy, the commander couldn't hold it together together anymore. He pressed down on his pen so hard that it snapped right in his hands. He thinks letting out more monsters is a bad idea. If they do, things could get out of hand, and nobody wants to deal with creatures that nobody can stop. Lee's teammate pointed out that Lee Wan was the strongest guy they had, but it was clear he couldn't push himself any further. Just as the argument is heating up, something crashes hard into their truck out of nowhere. The impact is sudden, throwing everything off and leaving them trying to figure out what just happened. Commander Wu squeezes the report tight in his hand, his anger hitting its limit. He rips the paper apart, not really caring about forms or rules when everything else is chaos. He gets loud, telling her she has this crazy strong power, so she should be careful with it instead of just doing whatever she wants. The torn report drops to the floor, showing just how angry he got. He stares at his screen, eyes locked on a single name. Anger boils up inside him, and now all that frustration has somewhere to go. Shen's face stares right back at him, the same guy everyone calls a deserter. He heads over to see the guy on rear guard, wanting to make him rethink his decision to bail. In his mind, there were things out there that seemed way scarier than just dying. Commander Wu pulls on his jacket and steps outside, the rain coming down hard. He knows what he has to do, and even though it's late and the wind is wild, he doesn't slow down. Every step he takes, the mission gets clearer in his head. The storm tries to push him back, but Wu keeps moving, focused on what needs to get done. Rain hammered down on the road as the convoy pushed ahead. Inside one of the cars sat a guy who wasn't letting anything go. He had something against someone, and it showed in the way he stared out the window, fists clenched tight. Just as they start moving forward, something steps out in front of them, a beast they've seen before. It stands right in their way, making it clear they won't get by easily. The group freezes, realizing this isn't going to be as simple as they hope. Lee Wan stands her ground with her five-tailed guardian right beside her, both of them refusing to back down. They're like a wall no one can get past. She sits up on her throne, surrounded by fur, looking like she's not done yet, and already getting set for whatever's coming next. Lee Wan looked at her beast and gave it a soft nudge, letting it know it needed to listen better next time. She suddenly remembered just how strong Shen was when she saw him before. She realizes that, even after spending time on the front lines, she's never come across anyone who fights this well. Her five-tailed beast rumbled quietly, always by her side, never doubting her for a second. She looks over at her companion and makes it clear that, in this war, the only thing that counts is staying alive. The bus rolled down the empty road, carrying the green-eyed man. He stared out the window, watching the scenery blur by, lost in his own thoughts as the bus kept moving forward. In the middle of the wet, dark woods, one small light stands out. It shines through the rain, almost like a guide, impossible to miss even when everything else is hidden by the night. The vehicle keeps moving forward, taking everyone inside closer to the rear guard. The green-eyed guy suddenly wakes up right as the bus pulls up to its stop. He pulls his hood over his head, bracing himself as he gets ready to head out into the storm and start what he came here to do. The bus doors slid open, letting the passengers step out into the dark. The green-eyed guy leaves in a way that catches a little more attention than everyone else. He looks over the crowd below, taking it all in before heading out. At the checkpoint, a guard takes his time looking over everyone's ID, making sure everything's legit. He looks up and signals to the next person, his voice carrying through the empty station. A female officer guides a family toward a bright, glowing tunnel. It looks like the way out, and she's making sure they get there safely. She steps in front of the guy with green eyes, wanting to know what he's doing hanging back with a rear guard. He just keeps walking, barely even looking at her. His mind's already somewhere else, locked on something that matters way more right now. He hands over his ID, just a plain card with his picture on it. He quietly sets it on the scanner, letting the machine handle the rest. The gate swings open, and he walks right in, proving that even the guys who seem like they've got everything figured out still need permission sometimes. The officer steps in front of him, blocking the way and making it clear he can't just go ahead without knowing what to do. He doesn't even notice her. He's already focused on what's in front of him, his mind set on where he's going. He looks over his shoulder, eyes distant and unfazed, like this place is nothing new to him. 10 years back, people first found out about these hidden passages. The memory pops up, reminding everyone how it all started. They traveled to different worlds, stepping into unknown places that most people had never even heard of. Every new place felt strange and exciting, like they were the first ones to ever set foot there. Moving through the empty spaces between these worlds, they pushed forward, always curious about what they'd find next. He walks right into the center of it all, where bright lights spin around him like a wild storm. He stands there looking calm, totally different from the wild mess happening right in front of him. A sudden, bright light fills the place right as he shows up where he's supposed to be. He ends up in a busy, high-tech city, right in the middle of the rear guard. This city stands as the final place where people live, held together by tech they didn't invent and the hope that things might get better. He's back in the city, noticing that for once he doesn't feel broken. It's the first time he's come here without anything missing. No cuts, no heavy baggage, just himself. Suddenly, a memory hits him. He remembers another life, one where he went through some rough experiments and had metal parts put into his body. The images are quick but intense, showing just how tough things used to be for him. He stands there for a moment, drawing in a slow breath as he looks over the city, the place he once gave everything for. His quiet moment doesn't last long. Two women show up, and one of them gives him a look that's anything but friendly. Shen stands there, taking in all her harsh words. His face stays calm and unreadable, not giving away any reaction. He just looks at her, not letting anything get to him. He tightens his fist when he spots the woman. He knows her. She's always been the friendly type, always smiling at everyone. She called out his name, messing with him and acting like he would never get what it meant to be really mad, especially since he'd walked away from everything before. Things get pretty tense when she stands in front of him, arms crossed and looking like she's ready to call him out. Her friend jumps in too, laughing and pointing like he's just waiting for a chance to pile on. Shen's son just stared at the ground, not even bothering to watch. To him, the whole thing seemed pointless, like he couldn't believe anyone would actually take it seriously. Commander Q's buddy stands nearby, giving him that look, pretty much daring him to show this deserter what happens to people who step out of line. The two stand across from each other, and it's pretty clear things are getting intense. Neither one wants to back down, and you can almost feel the pressure hanging in the air. She steps up to him, looking him right in the eye. She wants to know if he's brave enough to actually own up to what he did and why he backed down. Shen keeps his face calm, not really giving anything away. His eyes stay focused, steady as always. He clenches his jaw, letting out a quiet sigh as frustration builds inside him. He loosens his grip, taking a breath and letting the anger fade away. He turns away from her, not interested in whatever she's trying to pull. Just laughed, clearly making fun of him for stepping back when a girl was involved. Shen looks off into the distance, not really paying attention. It's like whatever she just said barely registers with him, just background noise he's not interested in. He turns and walks off, while she stays behind, standing there on her own. She loses it and starts yelling at him, wanting to know why he's just acting like she doesn't even exist. Dark energy bursts out from her, swirling everywhere. Anyone nearby can tell things are about to get intense. Commander Q stepped forward, letting everyone know she was in charge of intelligence. As she did, her weapon appeared in her hand, catching the guy's attention right away. She stops him and tells him to check in with his boss, wanting to know where he's heading. He just stands there, barely moving, looking tiny compared to how powerful she seems. Shen glances over his shoulder, his face giving nothing away. He doesn't seem bothered or interested, just calm and hard to read. She keeps pushing him, making it clear she wants to see if he'll actually stand his ground this time or just bail like before. He doesn't say anything. Instead, he just holds up a plain card between his fingers, letting it do the talking for him. He flicks his wrist, and suddenly the card splits into more, each one shining with an odd, otherworldly light. Shen finally introduced himself, letting everyone know he was the rear guard serviceman. She rolls her eyes, acting like he only showed up to drop off a message and nothing more. Shen just thinks she's being dramatic and doesn't take it seriously at all. Steps forward and lifts his hand, reaching out for the card that's lighting up in front of him. He doesn't hesitate, ready to take on whatever's coming next. The card shoots straight at her, cutting through the air without a sound. It carries this heavy, serious vibe, like whoever sent it means business and everyone can tell. She steps back, eyes going wide when she finally gets just how much power is packed into that thing. She swings her blade down, aiming to break the plain-looking card. Suddenly a bright light shot out, and her weapon just blew apart, scattering pieces everywhere. She just stands there, staring, not really believing what she's seeing. Her brain's kind of stuck like it can't catch up with what just happened. Nobody expected a regular ID card to ruin her battle-worn sword. She stares at the broken pieces of her favorite weapon on the ground, realizing there's no way she's getting a replacement. She's stunned, just staring at the broken pieces of her sword. That blade was known for being unbreakable, but now it's just scraps on the ground. She keeps thinking about how this guy, someone everyone called weak, managed to pull it off. For a second, she's frozen, trying to figure out what just happened and how she didn't see it coming. Her eyes go wide, and anyone looking at her can tell she's furious and can't believe what just happened. For the first time, the commander couldn't keep it together. The serious look she always wore was gone, and everyone could see she was struggling. Her friend kept going off on him, yelling all sorts of stuff and calling him a coward. Shen didn't stick around. He just turned away, leaving the commander alone to deal with her own embarrassment. He looks focused, his eyes serious, like someone who's been through stuff most people wouldn't get. There's something about the way he stands, like he's already made up his mind and nothing's going to shake him. Out of nowhere, a huge, ghostly tiger suddenly appears behind him. It doesn't make a sound, but you can tell just by looking at it that it's insanely powerful. Stops in his tracks as he finally realizes just how intense that stare is. A chill runs through him, and for a second he can't move. Just like that, the deserter walked away, leaving the legendary commander behind in the dust. He'd already checked in, so his job here was done. Her friend just freezes, mind going totally blank as she tries to make sense of the commander losing. Sun didn't waste any time. He just told them to handle the paperwork and was already focusing on something else. It was clear he was used to this kind of thing and didn't want to stick around any longer than he had to. Commander Q stands alone in the middle of the busy city, frozen in place while everyone else keeps moving around him. Her legendary pride was gone, replaced by a mess of frustration that showed on her face. She looked like she was about to explode, barely holding it together as her anger kept building up. At the same time, the guy walks through the hallways, checking the room numbers as he goes, trying to find where he's supposed to be. He keeps his eyes locked ahead, already thinking about what he needs to do next. Someone was coming up behind him, white boots hitting the ground hard, moving straight toward him like they meant business. Shen Xing walks up to a swirling portal, the kind that looks both cool and kind of intimidating. Two stone lions are sitting there on either side, keeping watch like they're not letting just anyone through. There's a sign out front showing this place is where the allied races have set up their rear guard. The stone guardian's eyes suddenly glow bright red. It's a silent signal that lets everyone nearby know they should probably keep their distance. He notices the lions are standing at the same distance he remembered from before. Even though everything looks the same on the outside, the way people get stronger and how their powers work has totally shifted. He rests his hand on the stone lion, and suddenly a hologram lights up in front of him. The guardian looked him over, figuring out pretty quickly that he was just a regular guy from Earth. The ancient guardian's eyes lit up bright and sharp. It was fully awake now, not just some old statue, but something real and alive. The statue stands there looking pretty official, almost like a bouncer at a club, but way more polite. It seems ready to help him out, like it's just waiting for him to ask. Shen got straight to the point and let everyone know why he was there. He needed to get into the combat simulation room. The orb inside the lion's mouth starts to shine brightly, lighting up the whole area with a strong, buzzing energy. A strong red beam bursts out, slicing through everything in its way as if nothing could stop it. As the beam lights up the darkness, a huge city comes into view inside the portal. Skyscrapers covered in bright lights stretch into the sky, and everything looks way more advanced than anything back home. It's like stumbling on a secret level in a game, where everything just looks cooler and more futuristic. The beam lights up where he's headed. It's the simulation training room. The portal lights up, spinning with bright energy. The stone guardian tells him what to do, just keep his eyes forward. He tries to focus, fighting the urge to glance over his shoulder. Every sound in the room seems louder, and his heart beats a little faster, but he sticks to the rule. Shen hears the warning and just looks back, calm and serious. He doesn't say anything, but it's clear he gets the message. He steps into the swirling vortex, the guardian's voice still stuck in his head. The way forward looks like a bright bridge, stretched out in the middle of a wild, messed up world. The non-stop warnings are really starting to annoy him. He narrowed his eyes. Rules never really mattered to someone who'd already died once. He stops looking at the stars around him. Right away, he feels this heavy pressure slam down on him, punishing him for standing up for himself. He clenches his jaw, eyes lit up, pushing back hard against the pressure holding him down. Suddenly, a system notification pops up, and it turns out this isn't some kind of punishment after all. Instead, it's actually a power-up. He looks around and sees how intense this place is. It's risky, but he knows it's exactly where he needs to be if he wants to get stronger. This abyss isn't just scary, it's the kind of place that could really level him up. Just like what happened with the devil ape, this place is making him stronger. He ignores the warnings popping up again and again, deciding to just go with whatever happens next. He grabs a seat, curious about what else this place might have for him. His stubbornness stirs up something huge, lurking in the darkness underneath. The creature's mouth suddenly twists open, turning into a swirling pit that starts dragging him closer. He tries to fight it, but it's like the whole world is pulling him in, and there's nowhere to run. Sun notices right away that gravity seems stronger than usual. Looks like he managed to tick off the animals around him. His system flashes the level up, and he just grins, pumped about moving forward. He tries out his new power on the creature, but it doesn't hit as hard as he hoped. The beast doesn't stick around. Instead, it bolts, disappearing fast into the darkness. He just stands there, frozen, not really sure what he's seeing. The giant creature turns and bolts, leaving him behind. Watching it take off, he can't wrap his head around it. He never thought something that big would be the one to run from him. Suddenly, another level up notification pops up on his screen. His power keeps climbing fast, and he can't help but notice how quickly things are changing for him. He grinned, noticing the rush of power running through him. His system lets him know that his power keeps getting stronger, way faster than anyone thought it would. He stands there with a grin he can't hide, clearly pumped about how things just changed out of nowhere. The Guardian's voice echoed in his head, giving him a pretty clear warning to get out of there and not mess around by looking back. Back in the middle of the storm, an armored truck pushed its way through the darkness. darkness. The five-tailed beast towers above the armored truck, massive and wild. Its fur bristles in the air, making the truck look tiny by comparison. Everyone nearby can feel the tension as the creature stands there, its presence impossible to ignore. Commander doesn't move. He's serious, not showing any fear or nerves. Anyone looking at him can tell he's ready to handle whatever comes next. Li Wanwan sits up high on her strange throne, looking off into the distance. Even now, she doesn't back down or look scared. Her eyes are steady, like she's set on something only she can see. Behind him, his soldiers stand lined up, not making a sound. They're all serious, focused, and ready for whatever comes next. Somewhere else, a police officer stands there, not really expecting what happens next. A whole new group shows up, and he can't help but stare, pretty caught off guard by it all. She walks up to a commander in a dark cloak, surrounded by his squad of soldiers coming back from their mission. She steps forward and greets the soldiers as they return, taking on the job for the rear guard service. She bows her head, showing her thanks for everything the group has done. After that, she tells everyone they can head home. She even throws a quick wink their way, kind of hinting that she'll have a stronger bridge ready for them when they come back. The commander nods, showing he's thankful for everyone backing him up. Even a small gesture like that makes the team feel noticed and appreciated. The officer gives him a firm handshake, letting him know she's thankful for his help. The commander rests his hand on the guy's shoulder, holding it there for a bit longer than usual. She stands there caught off guard as her face starts to turn red. The sudden touch throws her off, and she can't help but feel embarrassed. He gives a quick salute and lets everyone know they can finally relax after traveling for so long. He lifts his hand, signaling his squad to get moving. The soldiers lined up behind him, standing straight and still. Their formation was so perfect it almost felt unnatural, like they had practiced it 1,000 times. The officer gives them a nod, impressed by how gutsy they are. He even brings up Shen, the well-known sewer rat, and says they've got the same kind of bravery. The commander nods, his face serious. He's already planning how to make the deserter pay for walking out on them. She nods, totally caught up in what he's saying. His words really get to her, and she can't help but pay full attention. She smiles and waves her hand, letting the commander and his guys know they can go ahead. Somewhere else, another beast rider moved fast through the darkness. His ride was easy to spot, white fur flashing and a bit of red silk trailing behind, making him stand out even though the night tried to hide him. The female officer can't help but notice the way the commander carries himself. There's something about him that draws her in, and she finds herself paying extra attention, almost without realizing it. The pink-haired rider gave a small nod, keeping her face blank so no one could really tell what she was thinking. The officer glanced at her and thought to himself that it would take someone seriously brave to deserve a woman like that. Li Wanwan sat quietly, not moving, her eyes steady as ever. She looked like she owned the place, calm and unbothered, even with everything going on around her. The way she held herself, it was almost like she was sitting on a throne, totally in control. The commander's soldiers moved together, every step matching like they'd been drilled 1,000 times. It was so precise, it almost gave off a weird vibe, making anyone watching feel a little on edge. They walk like they've already won, looking relaxed and sure of themselves. Their plan worked out just the way they wanted. One of the soldiers noticed how the officer treated their commander with real respect. There's another guy watching all this, and deep down, he really wants people to look up to him like that someday. He's already thinking about how cool it'll be when everyone recognizes them for winning their fights. From the shadows, the pink-haired rider keeps an eye on the soldiers as they move past. He stays out of sight, watching carefully, not making a sound. Even though the soldiers look serious, he's not moving yet, just waiting, probably thinking about his next move. The place they're headed to looks wild. There's this glowing gateway up ahead, all futuristic and high-tech, like something straight out of a game. It's obvious this isn't just any doorway. It's the kind of portal that connects different worlds. The lights and energy around it make it impossible to miss, and everyone can feel that crossing through is going to change everything. The commander lets them know that getting through this passage isn't just about strength, it's going to mess with their heads. He tells everyone to get ready because he's about to take the lead. With his job finished, he takes a deep breath and walks straight into the swirling vortex, not looking back. The huge beast stood still while its rider kept an eye on the portal as it suddenly lit up. Both of them seemed ready for whatever was about to come through. His soldiers are pumped up, ready to stand behind him after seeing what he did. The guys act like they're totally fearless, brushing off whatever warnings the commander just gave them. The pink-haired rider looks way more serious than usual. She gives a quick nod, letting everyone know it's time to head out. From far away, the girl with pink hair sat quietly on her beast, just watching everything unfold. Nobody really knew what she wanted or why she was there, and she wasn't giving away any hints either. The commander walks into the bright light pouring out of the portal. He isn't sure what's waiting for him on the other side, but he's set on pushing through whatever comes next. He steps out on the other side, that weird, dizzy feeling from traveling hits him again. It's nothing new. He's felt it before, but it still throws him off for a second. He charges in, ready to save the day, but it all falls apart when he suddenly gets hit with brutal motion sickness. He always ends up feeling sick to his stomach every time he goes through the spatial rift. He'd honestly take on a bunch of monsters before going through this feeling again. The commander, who's clearly seen a lot, pushes himself up after that embarrassing fall. He brushes off his uniform, doing his best to look like he's still got it together, even though that slip definitely wasn't part of the plan. His big comeback wasn't going as planned. Even war heroes could get carsick, it seemed. He takes a deep breath, steadies himself, and his eyes turn serious. Determined, he gets ready to face whatever's coming next. He finally reached the grand hall of the rear guard, realizing this was where the journey stopped. He stands in front of the rear guard's grand hall. The place looks bright, almost welcoming, like it's calling him in. It feels like this is where things might finally start looking up. He really hopes none of the new guys saw how badly he showed up. He brushed off his uniform with a quick move, shaking off the dust. That little action helped him feel put together again. He stands tall, shoulders back, acting like he's already won. He knows that if he looks confident, people might actually believe it. Maybe even he will too. The commander's subordinate just stands there, eyes locked on him, unsure if the boss is actually okay or just pretending. His mind drifts back to the mysterious writer and the huge, powerful beast that always seems to be by her side. He reminded himself that she wasn't just any regular person. There was something dangerous about her, something that set her apart. He remembers just how huge the creature was, like a giant mountain that seemed alive and full of power. The woman looked calm, her face impossible to read. She seemed totally in control, not showing any hint of what she was thinking or feeling. He can't help but think about how much she saw when he showed up in such an embarrassing way. The mysterious writer nods slightly, keeping her eyes locked on the commander below. He tries to play it cool, but everyone can tell he's not feeling great. The queasy feeling hits him every time he travels between dimensions, and no matter how hard he tries, he just can't shake it. It's one of those things he wishes he could hide, but it always gives him away. She says she's totally fine, acting like the whole trip didn't bother her at all. The commander looks more serious now. You can tell he's starting to lose his patience. He loses his cool and tells her to get off and act respectful since this place means a lot. He lets her know that this path didn't come easy. It was built because so many heroes gave everything they had. The guy suddenly loses his cool, and the young woman just freezes. She can't process what just happened, and for a second it's like everything around her stops. She quietly called her beast over, her voice steady and calm. She reaches out and pats the huge creature under her, calming it down. The beast lets out a loud, angry roar, making it obvious it's not backing down to the commander. The commander doesn't budge. He stays put, completely steady, like nothing could make him move. Even with everything going on around him, you can tell he's not backing down anytime soon. He let her know she was way out of line, saying this path belonged to heroes, not people who did messed up stuff. The two stood across from each other, both refusing to back down. One had the confidence of someone used to being in charge, while the other wasn't about to let himself get pushed around. There was no shouting, just a heavy tension in the air, like everyone was waiting to see who would make the first move. The grand hall of the rear guard stands out in the distance, catching the light and drawing everyone's attention as they get closer. All his brave soldiers were too busy throwing up on the floor to do anything else. One of the guys starts grumbling about how the internet made portal travel sound way easier than it actually is. He's clearly not impressed, thinking back on all those posts and videos that barely mention the rough side effects he's dealing with now. Someone else just shrugs and decides it's best not to trust everything you see on the internet. The first soldier let out a tired groan, thinking the trip wasn't much of an adventure. It felt more like he'd just survived a wild stampede. The whole squad looks like they're about to lose it, all their tough guy attitudes wiped out by the boats rocking. While his guys are all knocked out, their commander is still on his feet, holding his ground. The cloaked commander turned around, his face tightening with anger that was impossible to miss. His eyes narrow, showing how mad and let down he is. He suddenly powers up, energy pulsing through him as he signals his crew to get moving. The explosion hits hard, knocking his whole squad off their feet. It's a rough wake-up call, showing them just how serious things can get if they're not paying attention. He stands above them, looking down with this serious, no-nonsense vibe. His presence alone makes everyone pay attention, like he's the one in charge and nobody wants to mess up around him. He looks at them with disappointment, thinking they should be way stronger. In his eyes, they're letting everyone down and making the Empire look bad. The soldiers just stood there looking down at the ground. None of them could meet anyone's eyes. They knew they'd messed up, and it showed in the way they barely moved, almost wishing they could disappear. He looks at them, clearly let down, like he expected way more. It's pretty obvious he thinks they totally missed the mark. The commander liked to teach in his own way, always pushing everyone to do better, even if it was a bit rough sometimes. His anger fills the whole hallway. There's nothing left in him but pure disappointment. The soldiers lower their heads, taking the criticism from their commander without arguing. The group stood around, looking a little out of place. One guy stepped forward and let everyone know they were just new to all this, fresh recruits who hadn't seen any real action yet. It was pretty clear none of them had ever been in a fight before. One of the guys just loses it and starts crying. He can't hold it together anymore, and finally lets everyone know he's scared to end up on the front lines. The commander couldn't believe what he just heard. Anger flashed across his face as the soldier's words sank in, and for a moment it looked like he might lose it right there. He stands over them, his whole body tense with anger. His eyes lit up with a sharp red glow, showing he was done putting up with everything. He lifts his hand, focusing all his strength into one spot. The energy builds up, and anyone watching can tell something serious is about to happen. Out of nowhere, a demonic spirit shows up and grabs the soldier by the collar. The guy's eyes go wide, frozen in place. His heart's pounding, and for a second he can barely breathe. The commander stands tall in front of him, watching closely, almost daring him to slip up again. The young soldier stands there, shaking. All that confidence he had before is gone now, wiped out by what he just saw. The commander stands over the soldier, his presence heavy and intense. The soldier feels small under that stare, his nerves on edge as he tries not to show how scared he is. The guy drops to his knees, looking desperate. He's clearly scared and just wants to make it out alive, not trying to act tough or brave. All he cares about right now is surviving. He's ready to take on any small job, even if it means looking after pigs, just so he doesn't have to end up fighting on the front lines. The commander just stared with this icy, unblinking look, not even a hint of sympathy in his eyes, only that harsh, serious glare that made it clear he wasn't cutting anyone any slack. He responds to the soldier's desperate call by landing one heavy punch, knocking him down instantly. A blinding flash of golden light surrounds the recruit, swallowing him up in an instant. Everything else fades away as the energy takes over, leaving him frozen and unsure of what's about to happen. Suddenly, the whole hall shook as an explosion tore through the place. In seconds, everything was gone, just emptiness where the hall used to be. The commander doesn't budge, his fist still letting off a thin trail of smoke after what just happened. His friends just stood there frozen. They couldn't believe what they'd just seen. He really went through with it, and now their buddy was gone. He looks at the soldiers still standing there. He's done teaching them, and they all know what's expected now. He made it clear that anyone who tried to run would face the same punishment. Shen was next on his list, and he wasn't backing down from that promise. Shen is already on the move, heading through the portal he opened not long ago. He's way ahead, leaving the others behind as he disappears into the unknown. The Stone Guardian's eyes grew dull, fading out now that its job was done. Shen steps out on the other side, his face giving nothing away. He ends up standing in a huge, really clean room that looks super advanced, like something out of a sci-fi movie. A tiny robot floats over, moving quick and smooth, ready to check out the person who just showed up. The simulation greeted him, letting him know it was time to pick how tough he wanted things to get. He's never really been the type to stick to the rules. Out of nowhere, he just tells everyone to turn off the lights. The little robot just stands there, staring. Whatever it was built for, it definitely wasn't ready to deal with this. The robot let him know that this whole simulation thing wasn't something to mess around with. It made it clear he should be careful, and definitely not turn off the lights. Shen just props himself up against the wall and closes his eyes like he's about to nap right there. He doesn't seem bothered at all, just settling in like it's no big deal. The machine keeps going on about how the soldiers can't wait to get into the fight, hyping up the whole idea of battle and making it sound like everyone's pumped and ready to go. The voice from the device sounded confused, wondering if he was paying attention at all. He jolts awake, his eyes flying open. For a second, the word sleep echoes in his mind, sharp and cold. Cold energy bursts out from him, spreading through the whole chamber. The plain, white room quickly turns icy and quiet, like someone hit pause on everything. The little robot starts to shake, clearly not built to handle this kind of freezing air. He thinks about why it always seems like things only quiet down when someone gets aggressive. It bothers him that peace never comes easy, and he can't help but wish there was another way. The robot's eye flickered as it processed what was happening, finally realizing how serious things had gotten. He lies back, thinking about how people usually just pay attention to whoever's in charge. Back at the Grand Hall, the commander in the dark cloak stood in front of his soldiers. Most of them kept their heads down, embarrassed after what had happened. The commander looked over them, making it clear he wasn't happy about their screw-up. The room felt heavy, and nobody dared to look up. Everyone knew they were in trouble, and the silence hung in the air, making the moment even harder. Up on her creature, the rider with pink hair keeps an eye on everything happening below. She stays still, just watching, not making a move yet. He looks back at the soldiers still standing with him. There's more he wants to show them, and he's not done teaching yet. His face, marked by old scars, stays serious and steady, showing everyone he's in charge and not messing around. He looked at everyone, wondering if any of them actually knew what happened on this old, important spot. Nobody says a word. Everyone just looks down, not sure what to do next. It's obvious they don't have a clue about what's going on, and it shows. He shouts out, reminding everyone that their squad was built by heroes who always stood their ground. His words finally seemed to reach them. The fear and embarrassment they'd been holding onto started to fade. The whole group lets out a loud cheer together, energy buzzing through them as their confidence comes rushing back. He explains that the stories everyone grew up hearing actually came from the people who lived before them, handed down like a special present. But there's a cold smile on his face, and it's clear he's hiding something way more serious. He looked over at his crew, letting them know he thought all those stories about heroes from the past were just fairy tales for kids. The commander's face scrunched up, clearly angry, as he let everyone know they'd just been robbed. His soldiers just stand there frozen. Nobody moves. It's like their brains just glitched out and they don't know what to do next. The pink-haired rider, usually so mysterious, actually paused for a moment after hearing what he said. Even she looked a little surprised, her usual cool vibe slipping for just a second. Her beast roared loud, matching the anger shown by the commander. He tells them how their world ended up connecting to tons of other worlds, almost like a bridge that links everything together. Whenever people showed up somewhere new, their first move was pretty much always to take over and wipe out whatever was already there. He explains that this holy place was actually built where 800 people lost their lives. He lets them know that by taking those lives, they took away not just people, but the chance for their world and their future to exist. The recruits just stand there, staring. Whatever ideas they had about being heroes start to fall apart right in front of them. The pink-haired rider just stands there, frozen. He can't believe how harsh people can be. It's like he's seeing a side of them he never expected, and it really gets to him. The commander lets out a quick, annoyed laugh, and just owns up to the fact that they've already wiped out a bunch of other kingdoms. One of the soldiers freezes, struggling to process what just happened. He can't believe it's real and just stands there, his mind racing. One guy notices the uniform and wonders if these people are really there to help. At first, the soldier's loyalty to his country was everything to him, but now doubts started creeping in. He couldn't stop thinking about what he'd done and if it was really the right thing. The pride he once had started to fade, replaced by a heavy feeling in his chest. It was like his mind kept replaying every choice he made, and he started questioning what kind of person he was becoming. They wonder if peace is just something people talk about, not something that actually happens. It crosses their minds if moving forward means leaving their pride behind. They step up to protect where they live, not to turn into the very things they're up against. The commander steps in and shuts everyone up. He knows only the winners get to decide how the story gets told. The commander just rolled his eyes at their struggle, thinking they were making a big deal out of nothing. He sends out another burst of energy, his fist shining with determination. The recruits just stand there, completely thrown off by his harsh reasoning. All the stuff they used to believe in doesn't really hold up anymore, and it shows on their faces. He stands his ground, not budging an inch, and everyone else gets shoved aside by how determined he is. It's like reality reminding them who's really in control. His face is covered in scars, but he looks totally sure of himself. Nothing seems to shake him. He thinks of the universe like a dark forest, a place where only the toughest make it through. He stands in front of everyone, looking nothing like the usual preachers people are used to. There's something off about him, like he's got secrets he's not telling. The way he carries himself, you can just tell he's about to say something that'll make folks uncomfortable. When he spoke, the guys around him started getting nervous and unsure about what was going on. He figured those guys probably wouldn't act so chill if they ever ran into an actual wild animal out here. In his vision, he saw himself and his friends standing in the dark, with tons of glowing eyes watching them from all around. Every eye seemed locked on them, making it feel like they were completely outnumbered by hunters hiding in the shadows. He lets everyone know there isn't really another option left for them in this dark forest. They realize they don't have a choice now. If they want to survive, they have to step up and fight back. It's either that or get taken out themselves. This is the moment things change. They're not just running anymore. Now they have to become the ones everyone else is afraid of. He drives his point home with another powerful hit, the kind that makes everyone stop and pay attention. He thinks of it like the law of the jungle. To get ahead, something always has to give. Progress doesn't just happen. There's always a cost. The recruits just stand there, frozen. They can't believe what they're hearing. Everything they thought they knew is falling apart right in front of them. One of the soldiers finally steps up. He gathers his courage and calls out the leader, saying he's making brutality look cool. He just couldn't handle the idea of going down such a messed up road. It was clear he'd rather risk everything, even his own life, than become something he hated. The commander looks right at him, not even flinching at his sudden confidence. He just stands there, sizing him up, completely unfazed. His fist started to glow again. This place definitely didn't deal with problems the usual way. With one punch, he takes out the guy who was causing trouble, making sure no one else dares to speak up. The soldier gets launched through the air, his resistance coming to a sudden, rough stop. His friends just stand there, frozen with blood on their faces. No one knows what to do next. The rider, who usually keeps his cool, couldn't help but freeze for a second watching the commander go all out. The level of force was way more than anyone expected, and it caught him completely off guard. The soldier drops to the ground, gone in a heartbeat. He's sprawled out on the floor, barely moving, his breathing fading away until there's nothing left. The commander tells his men to go without him, choosing to face the end by himself. He calls them out for taking all the rewards when they never put in any of the hard work. He made his point clear, then turned away, leaving the message behind like a punch that still stings. He walks straight toward the portal, not looking back at the beast or the guy riding it behind him. The beast's tails block the gateway, making it impossible to get through. Just by standing there, it gave off a vibe that nobody wanted to mess with. The beast and its rider come crashing down from above, heading straight for the commander standing alone. They walked up to the Allied Races Service Department, the main spot where the rear guard ran things. The pink-haired rider glances down, her hands a little shaky as she wonders about what he's doing. He wonders if she gets why he's in charge of the most feared squad out there. Blood trickled down from his tightly closed fist, showing just how serious he could get when things went too far. He finally explained why things were the way they were. Turns out, every other candidate was already gone. She just stands there watching him leave. There's nothing she can do now. He's made his point, and the whole thing leaves her stuck in place, not sure what to think as he disappears down the hall. The commander stares straight ahead, not even blinking. He looks like he knows exactly what he wants, and nothing's going to change his mind. Her beast gives a quiet growl, picking up on its master's stress. She couldn't hold it in anymore. Tears ran down her face as she realized how harsh he really was. All the stuff she tried to ignore just hit her at once, and it stung more than she expected. The pink-haired rider just couldn't handle it anymore. Watching how cruel things had gotten was too much, and he lost it right there, breaking down on the spot. The commander just turns around, not saying anything. His eyes are icy and unreadable, giving off that vibe that he's not fazed at all. He shouts, trying to justify his actions, acting like this tough world doesn't let anyone be soft. In his mind, he did what he had to do, because there's no space for anyone who can't handle it. He looks at the others with a cold stare, clearly not impressed. In his eyes, anyone who doesn't step up just isn't cut out for the team, let alone calling the shots. She breaks down, tears streaming down her face. His harsh way of thinking just leaves her feeling totally defeated, like she's got nothing left inside. The giant creature stood over the commander, its fur bristling as it stared him down. The commander felt the weight of those eyes on him, like he was being sized up without a word. He thinks guys like that are pretty much useless. As soon as things get risky, they're the first to bail. Up in the sky, patrol drones cruise over the city, missing everything that's actually going on below. The beast and its rider look ready for anything, standing tall and not backing down, while the commander faced them alone, totally outnumbered. She's sitting on her friend's back, shaking a little, with her face turned away from the monster waiting underneath. He lets her know that being a soldier means carrying yourself with respect. His harsh way of thinking just makes her sadness worse. One tear slid down his face, showing just how rough things had gotten for him. It was like, for a second, all the stuff he usually hid away finally slipped out. After finishing what he had to say, the commander just turns around and heads off, leaving everyone standing there. Everyone could tell by the symbol on his cloak that he always stood his ground. Up in the night sky, a single drone quietly moves over the city, its little lights blinking as it glides through the darkness. The moon hangs above, lighting up the rooftops and empty streets below, while the drone keeps watch, almost like it's on its own secret mission. The commander steps into the huge hall, looking around as his footsteps echo. A ghostly figure waits for him, standing guard with an air of quiet strength. He stands in front of the portal he knows well, noticing that the stone lion guarding it isn't sleeping anymore. The lion's eyes seem open now, like it's actually paying attention to him for the first time. The guardian nods at him, looking curious about where the great commander is headed. He answers quickly and keeps his eyes straight ahead, not looking around or slowing down. The pink-haired rider just sits there, tears streaming down her face. She's crushed by how harsh he's been, and it's like the weight of it all finally hits her. She isn't crying because she feels sorry for him. There's nothing kind in her eyes, just straight-up disgust. He walked up to the guardian and let him know that he wanted to use the training grounds. The stone lion opened its eyes, and something old and powerful started to wake up inside it again. A red beam slices through the air, showing him exactly where he needs to go. The path ends at the same simulation room where it is hanging out now. The Guardian lets everyone know the portal is good to go, making it clear that even the monsters are getting special treatment today. She isn't finished with him yet. She decides there's still something she wants to show, so he follows, not really sure what to expect. She lets him know he needs to stay sharp, making it obvious that things are about to get serious. He tells them that the people who used to live here aren't gone. They're just trapped somewhere, forced to watch as the ones who took over run everything now. The beast, with its rider gripping tight, rushed straight ahead. Both of them locked eyes on the commander standing alone, ready to hit him with everything they had. He ignores everyone else, just staring straight at the swirling vortex in front of him. The portal's challenge was starting to wear him down. His eyes were red and tired, showing just how much the effort was getting to him. He clenches his jaw, pushing back against a pressure that could easily break someone weaker. He tightens his fist, trying hard to keep it together, but his hand shakes a little as he holds back everything he's feeling. He holds his ground while everything around him goes wild. Even though things are out of control, he refuses to back down. He hears the challenge and doesn't hesitate. His heart's pounding, but he steps forward, fired up and ready to prove himself. This is where things get real, and he's not backing down. He taps into his own strength, pushing hard against the portal's heavy pull. He thinks weak guys never make up their minds, but strong guys just go for what they want. He presses his hand against his chest, steadying himself as he stands firm in what he believes. No doubts, no backing down. He's locked in, ready for whatever comes next. He takes out one pill, knowing it's his backup plan for moments when things get risky. He pops it in his mouth, not even stopping to think, like he's totally set on going all out. He jumps right into the portal. The pink-haired rider just stands there, staring, not sure what to do next. Inside the swirling vortex, his body twisted in ways it never had before. His uniform couldn't handle it, ripping apart at the seams as the pressure built up around him. A blinding light swallows him up. Everything around him turns wild and confusing, and whatever sounds he tries to make just vanish into the mess. His hair gets longer and starts looking messy, while his face tightens up in pain. His back bent as his muscles grew, finally snapping the last restraints holding him down. The transformation finishes, and now the commander stands there as a huge, intimidating monster. His eyes start to shine with an intense, wild light, like he's not really himself anymore. All that's left in him is this unstoppable strength, taking over everything that used to make him human. He hits the ground on the other side, steady and focused, like he's locked in and ready for whatever comes next. The pink-haired rider just stands there, not really believing what he's seeing. He looks down and realizes he's doubled in size. Seriously, he's twice as big as he was before. Dark energy spins around his huge, beastly body while he gets used to this new power. The wild energy pulls together, turning into a storm that crackles with raw power. She stares, frozen, her eyes locked on his arm as it changes into something she can't understand. Her stomach twists as she tries to figure out what's happening, but nothing makes sense. She shivers, thinking back to how brutal he was and that weird pill that turned him into something terrifying. He notices the power running through him, stronger than anything he's felt before. It's intense, almost like an adrenaline rush, and he can't help but feel pumped up. She stays back on her beast, just watching him turn into something she barely recognizes. All she can do is sit there, trying to make sense of what's happening, while he changes right in front of her. He lets out a loud yell, getting pumped to beat his own high score. For him, nothing matters more right now. The timer keeps going past a minute, but the power is already wearing him down. His eyes stay sharp, locked in with a stubborn kind of focus. Even when things get tough, he's not giving up. He clenches his jaw, struggling to keep it together as the monster's body shakes from the heavy pressure. A wild grin showed up on his face. He just broke the old record. His strength gave out, and his huge body dropped to the ground as the transformation wore off. The pink-haired rider just stands there, frozen and speechless, not sure what to do next. His messy hair starts to pull back, and the scary, monster-like parts of his face slowly fade until he looks more like himself again. His muscles pull back in, and he goes back to looking like his regular self again. His changed arm starts to break down, little pieces chipping off as it falls apart right in front of him. He suddenly gets it. The alien serum can't do everything. The power boost was crazy, but it didn't help heal any injuries or make anyone feel better if they got hurt. He gets back up, but it's obvious what it cost him. His arm isn't there anymore. He stands in front of the beast and its rider. Losing an arm doesn't really matter to him. He'd trade it any day for the strength he's got now. He tried to make himself believe that what he was doing didn't matter as long as he won. In his mind, all the rough stuff would fade away once everyone saw the results. His words don't help at all. Instead, they just make her feel even worse, like everything's piling up with no way out. The beast lets him know it's time to keep moving, making it clear that if he sticks around, someone's bound to spot him. He tells her to focus on getting stronger, pushing her to train her beasts harder and keep their losses low. She looks away, not wanting to look at the guy who completely crushed what she believed in. He turns to go, leaving her behind. His last words hang in the air, cold and serious. He made it clear that if they cross paths again, things won't end the same way. After he finishes what he came to say, he turns and walks off, fading into the shadows. She's left standing there, surrounded by darkness that seems to close in all around her. She falls to the ground, the beast's tails curling around her. She just lies there, totally defeated, like she's got nothing left inside. He starts thinking that his new power needs a test run. Deep down, he's hoping Shen will show up, just so he can see what happens. Commander Wu stepped out of the portal, his face set and determined. He'd lost an arm in the fight, but he was standing tall, looking like someone who just pulled off something huge. Even with the pain obvious in his eyes, there was this quiet confidence about him. He'd made it through and won. The stone guardian turns toward him, looking kind of worried. It seems like the guardian is about to say something important, giving off a vibe that something might be wrong or that he needs to pay attention. Wu steps in, shutting everything down with a serious look. He doesn't want to hear another word. Instead, he just points out that he needs some new clothes, making it clear he wants to move on fast. The guardian nods, ready to help out, since he knows doing a good job for others is important. Now that he's all dressed, he walks into the city and leaves the portal behind him. At the same time, the girl with pink hair is speeding through the emptiness on her creature, pushing forward without looking back. She keeps crying, her energy completely drained after what the commander did. She blinks back tears, but something changes in her eyes. She's not giving up just yet. Behind them, the portal spins, acting like a doorway that connects different worlds and ideas. Her hand pressed against her chest, and in that moment, she realized just how scared she really was. She hears a quiet voice in her head, reminding her that everything's okay and she doesn't need to be scared. Her thoughts get interrupted, snapping her out of her sadness. Suddenly, something inside her clicks. She finds a bit of determination she didn't realize she had. Her eyes go wide as something clicks for her right when things start to go sideways. She thinks back to what the guardian told her, not some complicated advice, just a clear rule about staying safe on this risky path. She tightens her fists and makes herself face forward, determined to do what she's told. She really wants to look away, but it's tough. It's like her willpower is getting put to the test right now. She moves ahead through the wild, messy place, always aware of the fear sitting in the back of her mind. Just like what happened to Shen before, two glowing eyes slowly showed up from the darkness. This time, the creature doesn't attack or make any sudden moves. It just slips away, disappearing into the shadows like it was never there, as if it got what it wanted and was done for now. The voice came back, reminding her that she was strong all on her own. She never actually needed its power. The girl with pink hair makes a small noise, showing she hears the voice in her head. She wonders if it got upset when she let it use her body for a while. She stands taller now, more focused than before. She signals Jing, her beast, to move ahead, ready to face whatever comes next. The huge beast charges through the wild, messed-up world, all muscle and fur moving fast. She shuts her eyes, looking pretty relaxed while she listens to that voice in her head. She realizes that when she's ready to figure things out, she'll need to track down the guy she ran into earlier that day. The voice nudged her, kind of checking in to see if she was still scared. The question pulls her back to reality, and her eyes pop open as she's caught off guard. At the same time, the central command tower lights up the city under the moon, standing tall and impossible to miss. At the center of the allied race's strength stood a fortress, solid and bright, made from steel and shining lights. Her eyes got bigger as she suddenly remembered someone who had run away before. She thinks back to a rainy night, remembering how everything felt heavy and the sky looked weird, almost red. That was when she made a promise, one she's kept close ever since. He had taken her umbrella, promising himself he'd give it back the next time they ran into each other. The memory hits her out of nowhere, and suddenly everything clicks into place. She sets her sights on something new, and now, instead of being scared, she's finally got a reason to keep going. At the same time, the commander steps into Simulation Room 01. This spot isn't for just anyone. Only the top guys get to use it. He let out a short laugh, thinking about who would be dumb enough to use this room without asking him first. He walks over to the chamber, not hesitating for a second. He's ready to see who broke in and deal with whatever's waiting for him. He puts his hand on the scanner and gets in right away, thanks to his clearance. When the monitor finally showed who was inside, it turned out to be Shen lying on the floor, just catching some sleep. Commander Wu's voice blasted through the speakers, sharp and commanding. The guys in the simulation room barely had a second to react before everyone started moving, grabbing their stuff and heading for the exit. No one wanted to stick around after hearing that tone. On the monitor, his angry face shows up big and clear, staring down at the only person in the room. Shen opens his eyes, clearly not thrilled about being disturbed. He sits up slowly, looking tired but not surprised as he notices he's being called. Letting out a quiet sigh, he gets ready to face whatever comes next. The security cameras showed exactly what happened. He was just lying there on the floor, catching some sleep. Commander Wu walks into his training hall and just stops. There's someone lying there, fast asleep, right in the middle of the place. Wu stares for a second, not sure if he's actually seeing this, because who just crashes in someone else's gym like that? It takes a moment for it to sink in, but yeah, someone seriously sleeping in his hall. He can't believe how this random soldier just disrespected him. His anger hits its limit, and he's about to lose it. Shen didn't bother with the chaos around him. He just stood up, picked up his umbrella, and headed for the door, not even looking back. He glances down at his phone and can't help but grin. Break time's done. He knows it's time to get going again. He checks his phone, the glow from the screen lighting up his serious face. It's a file about him, packed with stuff accusing him of scamming people and running away when things got tough. He lets out a sigh, already irritated that the rumors are everywhere. He just shrugs and gives a quick smirk, like he knew this was coming all along. Nothing really catches him off guard anymore. Outside the room, Commander Wu was still angry, trying to keep it together. Even though he wasn't yelling, anyone could see he was upset. He paced back and forth, his jaw clenched tight, clearly not happy with what was happening inside. He waits by the door, keeping an eye out for the soldier who's been acting out of line. The two stare each other down. One of them looks icy and angry, while the other just seems completely unbothered. Sun looks him over and decides he probably acts like any other middle manager who's mad about something. He barely nods, not really caring, which only makes the commander even angrier. Wu's power started to rise, lighting up the whole place. Shen didn't even bother to look back. He just turned around, acting like he'd had enough, and got ready to walk away. Commander Wu storms in, his voice booming through the room. He's clearly ticked off, staring hard at the guy who isn't wearing the right uniform. Wu's eyes are sharp, looking for an answer, and everyone else gets real quiet, not wanting to draw attention. It's obvious he's not messing around, especially since they're all standing on sacred ground. He keeps going, calling out every mistake, from dozing off at work to not showing respect to the boss. Shen Qing's son just thinks about how he's still trying to figure out his new body. Everything feels a bit weird and different, and he's not really used to it yet. Right then, those white boots everyone knew showed up in the hallway, stomping down the floor. Shen flashed a smile that looked friendly enough, but anyone paying attention could tell he wasn't really sorry at all. He gives a half-hearted salute, acting like he's just starting out and ready to figure things out as he goes. Wu's face changes as he suddenly remembers something he read from the logistics team. Shen lifts his hand in a casual wave, signaling he's done listening. He looks pretty satisfied, like he's made up his mind and doesn't need to hear anything else. He turns away to go, totally done with all the drama. His patience has run out. The commander wasn't done yet. He suddenly sent out a burst of energy, cutting the guy off before he could move any further. Commander Wu's hands sparked with energy as he finally understood what was happening. He lets out a loud yell when he spots the guy in front of him. Right away, he recognizes him. This is Shen, the deserter everyone's heard about. He throws a punch, fast and hard, his fist glowing with gold light as it blazes through the air. Shen stands there watching the attack come at him. He doesn't even flinch or move, just keeps his cool like it's no big deal. Wu let all his anger loose, putting everything he had into one hard hit, hoping it would be enough to take the guy down for good. The blast hits Shen hard, knocking him off his feet and sending him sliding across the shiny, high-tech floor. He plants his feet firmly, trying to hold his ground as something powerful pushes against him. Every muscle tenses up, and he can feel his heart pounding. Whatever this is, it's not like anything he's faced before. Commander Wu just stands there, totally thrown off. You can tell his confidence takes a real hit. His eyes go wide, totally stunned, like his brain just hit pause and he can't wrap his head around what he just saw. He starts thinking about how this guy, who everyone calls a coward, managed to take his strongest hit and still be standing. It just doesn't add up in his mind. Commander Wu glared at Shen, his anger obvious to everyone around. Just by looking at him, you could tell he thought Shen didn't stand a chance. The tension in the room was heavy, and even the guys nearby seemed uneasy, waiting to see what would happen next. Lifts his hand, and just like that, the attack freezes midair. The impact hits hard, and the commander gets knocked off balance, stumbling back from the force. Shen squinted, sizing up the commander and trying to figure out just how strong he really was. Wu just stands there, frozen, his anger fading as he tries to figure out what's even happening. Nothing makes sense to him right now. The two of them faced off, staring each other down. The deserter didn't even flinch, not bothered at all by the commander's presence. He starts thinking about whether the way Power's work has changed since he came back. He gets a notification from the system telling him there's a new transformation up for grabs. It's almost like the game just knows the perfect time to drop something new on him. He flashes a confident smirk and steps forward, ready to kick off the real fight. Dark energy starts to gather around him. He stands still, getting ready to show what he's really capable of. The air feels heavier, and anyone nearby can sense that something big is about to happen. His eyes suddenly light up with something strange as the change starts to take over. His arms are covered in smooth, glowing armor, buzzing with wild energy. He stands there completely changed, looking like a warrior made from both darkness and light. Commander Wu just stands there, frozen. The usual tough look on his face is gone, and for once he looks totally lost. Shen Sen stays chill and lets the commander know it's probably not a good idea to pick a fight with him. He isn't trying to show off or anything. He just wants to keep things from getting out of hand, maybe save the commander some trouble he doesn't need. He knows that getting into a fight would mess with Wu's head for a long time. The commander steps up and tries to take charge again. He starts giving out orders, reminding everyone about what they're supposed to do and who they're up against. Just lets everyone know he's not planning to pick a fight. He says what he needs to say, then sends the commander away. Without looking back, he heads off into the shadows. Wu stands there, stuck in his own thoughts, replaying everything that just happened and questioning what he's done with his life. Commander Wu's pride kicks in, and suddenly his whole body lights up with this intense red glow. He clenches his fists, his face tight with anger. There's no way he's going to let himself get pushed around like this. He's a soldier, and he's not about to let anyone walk all over him. The whole situation just eats at him, and he can't stand being treated like he's nothing. He gets ticked off and just goes for it, ignoring Shen's warning like it's nothing. His uniform gets torn apart as he powers up, ready to give everything he's got in the fight. He can't accept that this guy, who everyone says ran away, might actually be tougher than him. His fist lights up with a golden glow, packed with power and set to end things for good. As he charged ahead, a ghostly dragon took shape behind him, its presence adding a chill to the air. Shen stands there, not even bothering to react as the other guy walks up. He doesn't look interested or surprised, just kind of bored, like he's seen this all before. The commander's punch lands straight on the back of his head. It's a solid hit, no warning, just sudden impact. His body jolts forward, and for a second, everything blurs. Pain shoots through him, and all he can do is try to steady himself and not go down. The golden dragon let out a loud roar, showing everyone just how angry the commander was. The air around them felt heavy as the power behind that roar spread, making it clear that things were about to get intense. Commander Wu yells out, his eyes locked on the enemy. There's no hiding how much he hates the guy. Anyone could see it just by looking at him. The hit lands straight on Shen's back, knocking the air out of him. Shen Jingsun stands there, totally unfazed. His face stays calm, not giving away a single hint of what he's thinking. Nothing seems to bother him at all. Out of nowhere, energy bursts out from him, pushing the attack away before it can even land. The commander goes flying through the air, knocked back by his own attack. For a second, he can't believe what just happened. His own strength used against him. It all hits him at once as he slams to the ground, trying to figure out how he lost control. Blood spills from his mouth as he coughs, his eyes wide and frozen. He can't believe what just happened, and for a second he's completely stunned. He goes flying, flipping through the air without any way to stop himself. Shen Sun looked over his shoulder, his expression making it pretty obvious he wasn't surprised by how things turned out. Anyone watching could tell he thought this was just what he expected. Commander Wu hits the ground hard, dropping down on one knee right in front of the guy he just tried to take out. His face says it all. He's completely freaked out. You can tell whatever just happened knocked his confidence down a notch. Commander Wu just stands there, eyes wide, trying to make sense of what he's seeing. Whatever's happening in front of him is way out of his league, and he can't wrap his head around it. He stays on his knees, fists clenched, and his whole body shaking. Anger burns inside him, but he can't ignore the sting of embarrassment that won't let go. His eyes narrow, full of fire, not ready to let this loss slide. Shen Ting-sun steps forward and challenges him, doubting how strong he really is if he has to go after the new guys. Wu just stood there, his fists clenched at his sides. He couldn't believe what he just heard. His mind was racing, and all he could do was glare, trying to process everything. It was like his whole day had just been flipped upside down, and he was left simmering, totally thrown off. He lets out a loud, angry yell. It just doesn't make sense to him that someone who ran away could have this much strength. His pride was gone, and he found himself slipping back into old habits, searching for something, anything, that could help him feel better. His uniform was all beat up, but he still managed to dig out that same huge, creepy pill he'd used before. He throws the vial up, finally going for his last option. He grabs the object and throws a glare at Shen, calling him out for being scared, even though deep down, he knows he's just as nervous. Shen looked at the commander, his eyes cool and steady. He studied the man in front of him, not showing much emotion, just trying to figure out what went wrong. He lets Wu know to just move on and get back to work, like nothing even happened. He leaves him with one last warning, making it clear that going after payback isn't a good idea. Commander Wu's pride took a hit, and it wasn't something he could just brush off. Even after everything, that dent in his confidence lingered, sticking with him like an old bruise that just wouldn't fade. He starts yelling about what it means to be a soldier, his voice echoing through the room. Without hesitating, he grabs a bunch of those off-limits pills and downs them, not caring about the risks. His body starts to change again, power building up inside him just like before. The transformation kicks in, and he can feel the energy rush through every part of him. His face twists as weird tentacles start pushing out from his skin. Inside, something dark takes over him. His face starts to twist and change, the skin shifting and moving in ways that aren't natural. It's like something else is in control now, pushing everything normal out of the way. His arm starts to change, skin roughening up and turning into thick, scaly armor. Before he knows it, his hands turned into a dragon's claw, sharp and powerful, looking nothing like it did before. Spikes shoot out from his back just as he finishes changing into something way more monstrous. The creature's tail, now huge and covered in spikes, swung through the air. The transformation was finally done, and it looked even nastier than before. Commander Wu stands in front of him, way bigger and scarier than before. The changes from all that weird alien tech make Wu look almost unreal, and the anger in his eyes is impossible to miss. The creature let out a loud roar, making it clear to Shen that real conviction isn't just about words or looking tough. The sound hit hard, almost like the creature was calling him out and making him rethink what it actually means to stand your ground. He just stands there, not bothered at all, while the other guy keeps going with his big speech. He sighs, looking completely let down. He used to think the commander could actually help out, but now he's starting to doubt if he was right about that. Shen tightens his fist, finally fed up with how things have been dragging on. He's had enough of this nonsense, and it shows in the way he stands. It's clear he's ready to do something about it. The monster towers above, but the guy standing underneath doesn't even flinch. Even with that thing right there, he stays calm, not backing down or showing any fear. He looks up at the moon, thinking about whether this world is really worth saving. Somewhere else, an officer looks over Shen's personnel file. His abilities aren't listed anywhere, and that instantly grabs her attention. She squints as something clicks in her mind. She feels more focused now, ready to deal with something even more important. Up on the rooftops, Li Wanwan and her beast watched over the city, staying quiet as everyone below went about their night. She looks serious, still trying to process what the commander just said. His harsh way of thinking really hit her, and it's obvious she can't shake it off yet. Her peaceful moment doesn't last long. Someone shows up from downstairs, breaking the silence. The officer steps forward and says her name, Captain Luo. She lets everyone know she's got an official order to deliver. Li Wanwan listens, her face showing that she's a bit uneasy. This promotion isn't exactly what she hoped for. Sure, it's a step up, but now she's stuck in the back, away from the main action. She lifts the file and looks at the photo inside. The guy in the picture is the deserter everyone keeps talking about. His eyes seem to follow her, and she can't help but study his face, trying to figure out what kind of person he is. Li Wanwan spots the name on the file, and it instantly rings a bell. She wonders if this mysterious soldier is hanging around in the back, too. Her eyes suddenly light up with determination, showing that she's ready to face whatever comes next. She thinks back to the guy she saw at the portal, the one who stood up to the commander. That moment sticks in her mind, and she can't help but wonder what his deal is. Captain Luo lets her know the guy has disappeared. No one can find him anywhere. Her hope started to slip away as she let her beast know it was time to go. The huge creature with its rider sitting tall slowly turns around. They don't say anything, but just standing there, they give off a vibe that makes everyone pay attention. It's the kind of moment that makes the whole place go quiet, like everyone's waiting to see what happens next. The others head out, leaving the captain standing by himself in the silent city square. The captain couldn't help but complain about how much trouble the deserter had caused. Honestly, it just showed that everyone, even in the military, loved to talk about each other behind their backs. Some things never change, no matter where you are. Captain Luo stands there, gripping the deserter's file tight in her hand until the paper bends and creases. She squeezes her hand, showing just how annoyed she's getting. She tosses the file to the side, looking like she's already made up her mind. She steps on it and twists her foot, making sure it's completely crushed. She made it clear that no matter how strong Shen was, he'd still manage to embarrass the whole empire. She decides right then that when everything's over, it's only going to be her or her enemy left. No way she's letting anyone else win this fight. Somewhere else, Li Wanwan suddenly gets this cold, uneasy feeling, like something bad might be about to happen. It catches him off guard and makes him pause, glancing around as if searching for an explanation. She sits huddled close to her beast, hidden away in the shadows. A dark hand stretches toward her, bringing back the memory of that voice she once heard in the darkness. At first, she's scared, but then something changes. Her nerves settle, and her eyes light up like she's finally decided what she has to do. There's this new determination in her expression, clear as day. Somewhere nearby, a group of women started laughing together. One of them, with a grin that gave away she was probably up to something, seemed to be leading the fun. Li Wanwan's thoughts drifted back to a moment he couldn't forget. In his mind, he was back in the middle of pouring rain, staring at something dark and scary that made his heart race. She thinks back to a friend whose smile always looked a little awkward, like he never really knew how to pull it off. There was a moment when she had to face the darkness all by herself. It was like everything around her got heavier, and she couldn't count on anyone else to help. She stood there, knowing it was all on her this time. Back in the training hall, Commander Wu steps up, massive and intimidating. He swings hard, showing off just how strong he really is. Gets ready for what's coming, locking in with a serious look. He's all in, eyes sharp, not letting anything distract him. The monster looks up, picking up on another attack coming down from the darkness above. Its eyes are locked on the target, wild and fierce, blazing with pure anger. All control is gone now, nothing's holding it back. A huge glowing fist comes crashing down from above, aiming to break more than just bones. It's meant to crush anyone's spirit. Shen just smirks, not impressed at all. The monster's speed seems slow to him, almost like it's moving in slow motion. He steps aside just in time, and the monster's fist swings right past him, not even close. Qing Sun isn't out of tricks just yet. As the tension builds, he suddenly taps into a strange new power, pulling something unexpected out of nowhere. He pulls a huge, dark blade out of the swirling energy, like it's nothing. The monster just stands there, frozen, watching the deserter get ready to fight back. For a split second, its eyes go wide, completely freaked out. Shen moves fast, not hesitating for a second. His blade pushes straight into the beast's stomach, smooth and quick, finishing the job before the creature even knows what hit it. He keeps his face blank, giving his decision like it's nothing. There's no sign of what he's thinking, just that same unreadable look. The monster reels backward, struggling to keep its balance. Its huge body has been ripped open from just one hit, pieces falling away as it tries to stay upright. It turned out that when someone suddenly got way stronger, things didn't always go as planned. Shen Sing soon stands back, eyes fixed on what he's been working on. He knows there's still more to do, and he's not ready to walk away yet. The blade slices in, hitting hard and leaving no room for doubt about the commander's anger. The huge beast gets knocked back, flying through the air. All that strength it showed before doesn't matter now, not with this new enemy in front of it. Steam rises from the wound, showing just how strong that one hit really was. The monster just stands there, totally frozen, not able to understand how he lost. He's freaking out inside, thinking back on everything he gave up just to get this power. He wonders how everything he believed in could fall apart because of one guy who just walked away. He drops to the ground, his huge, twisted body showing everyone just how badly things went for him. Shen Qing starts thinking about everything he's given up. He can't help but wonder who he did it all for. The question hangs in his mind, making him pause for a moment, like he's searching for an answer that isn't obvious anymore. The question hits the commander hard. His anger fades fast, replaced by confusion and doubt. He stands there, lost in his own thoughts, trying to figure out who he really is and what he's even doing. Everything he believed in suddenly feels shaky, and he doesn't have any answers. He looked at his opponent, and it hit him. This was probably the moment his time at the top was over. The monster goes on about how some aliens picked him out, saying he's the first one to really unlock his true power. He goes off, acting like everyone's on his side. In his mind, Shen Qing Shun is just someone nobody cares about anymore. Shen notices how the tough act isn't real. He can tell the guy is trying way too hard, like he's hungry for power or respect. Shen's not fooled. He wonders why someone would go to such lengths just to look strong. The commander didn't really see justice the way most people did. To him, it was just something you could use to get what you wanted. Fame, respect, maybe even attention from girls. That's all it really meant in his eyes. Shen watches the commander and thinks he's completely lost it, caught up in his own weird ideas. The leader who used to stand tall and confident is now on his knees in front of his rival. He looks defeated, his head down and his strength gone. It's obvious things have changed. He's not the guy everyone remembered. He lets out all his anger and slams his fists down on the broken floor, not caring about the pain. He shouts out, certain that taking down Shen would turn him into a hero across the country. Shen Ting Sun lets out a sigh. He's totally out of patience for all this villain talk. His armor suddenly lights up, signaling that he's about to end things for good. Stands there completely chill, while this dark, shadowy energy kind of gathers around him. He glances down, his dark energy moving around him, strong but completely under his control. He used to think Wu was just some hero who'd lost it after everything he'd seen in battle. His hand tightens into a fist. Whatever sympathy he had disappears, replaced by a cold, steady glare. Now he gets it. He totally read the commander wrong. He looks Wu up and down, not hiding how little he thinks of him. To him, Wu isn't even worth calling a person. The monster lets out a loud roar, mocking him for staying at the back and not stepping up. Its fists light up with fire as it jumps high, going all in for one last attack. A burning meteor came crashing down from the sky, aiming straight for the lone deserter. The air around him got hotter by the second, and he could almost feel the weight of that anger heading his way. Shen's son doesn't even flinch as it heads his way. He just stands there, looking bored, like he's seen this 100 times before. Shen just lifts one hand and stops the blazing attack like it's nothing. The commander watched as his golden dragon smashed right into something he couldn't see, breaking apart midair. It was like the dragon just hit an invisible barrier and fell to pieces, leaving the commander stunned and thrown off his game. He easily stops the monster's attack and sends it right back, barely breaking a sweat. The monster just stands there, staring. It can't figure out what kind of dark power it's seeing, and it's clearly confused by what's happening. Shen Qingsun looked at Wu and thought that, honestly, if anyone here had lost their sense of what's right, it was Wu. He makes a small move, and suddenly the whole fight starts to change. The commander stood trapped, his own fire swirling around him and blocking any way out. Comes up with a name for the move. It's nothing fancy, just a straight-up order to choke, no holding back. Dark energy swirled down from above, slamming into the monster and pinning it to the ground. The force was intense, making the creature struggle as it got crushed under all that pressure. The commander, who used to be the toughest guy around, was now just falling apart. He was yelling and totally lost it. That power-up he got? Yeah, it definitely didn't come with any do-overs. He's done putting up with the commander, and finally lets him know he's had enough. He tells the monster it should rethink its decisions if it gets another shot. The monster's eyes go wide, clearly stunned as its strength starts to slip away. It looks annoyed, almost like it's given up on the idea that humans could ever get where it's coming from. Shen Qing doesn't bother sticking around for the villain's last speech. He's already heard enough and just moves on, not wasting any more time. He lets out one last blast of dark energy, way stronger than anything before. He sighs, looking tired and honestly just over it. The whole thing is dragging on, and he's clearly not interested anymore. His hand starts to glow, and he looks like he's finally had enough of this. He's about to finish things for good. The monster just stands there, frozen, as it sees what's coming. It can't move or do anything about it, just stuck knowing things are about to go really bad. The creature's mouth opened wide, but no sound came out as the attack swallowed it up. The monster's eyes lit up, one blue, one green. Something in its head seemed to snap, like it couldn't hold it together anymore. The scene shifts back in time. Wu Qing is just 7 years old, kneeling quietly as part of his punishment. He stands in front of the old family tablets, just looking at them. It's like the whole weight of his family's past is right there, reminding him that this is something he's supposed to carry on. At 18, he's already a soldier, caught in a battle against something huge and terrifying. Every day feels like a struggle just to make it out alive, but he keeps pushing forward, hoping for a chance to win. Out of nowhere, he hears a voice in his head. It tells him there's a way to get insane power, but there's a catch. He'd have to give up his arm for it. He doesn't even pause. He hacks off his own limb just to get away. It's rough and desperate, and it's only the beginning of the stuff he's willing to do now. At 27, he's already a commander, but deep down, he knows the voice in his head is the real reason he's gotten this far. He lets out a loud yell, pushing himself to fight off whatever strange thing is messing with him inside. He decides he's going to stand by what really happened in the war, even if it means calling some people out as the enemy. The entity just laughed at him, making it clear he never really had control in the first place. The thing messes with him, letting him know it's been running his messed up mind from the start. His eyes looked empty, like he'd been through way too much for one person. Inside, it was just him and the thing living in his body, one guy and one alien parasite. Shen swings his blade, cutting right through the monster. It's over in an instant. The fight finished with one last powerful hit. Commander Wu took his final breath, quietly saying goodbye to everything and everyone he knew. Somewhere else, a young woman watches another fight unfold. She can't believe what she's seeing. Her eyes are wide, and it's like everything around her fades out for a second. The fighter crashed hard against the far wall of the training room, thrown off his feet by a powerful blast. Everything around him looked futuristic, with glowing screens and strange tech everywhere. He hit the ground, catching his breath for a second, trying to shake off the impact as the lights above flickered. The room was quiet now, except for the hum of machines. A guy with purple hair noticed she was moving a lot faster than before. She lands right in front of a huge, shadowy monster, ready for whatever's coming. The short-haired woman steps forward and throws a punch that glows with bright light. The force behind it is intense, lighting up the space and making it clear she's not holding anything back. Another fighter steps up and throws a punch, his hand wrapped in dark energy. Their fists slam together, sending out a burst of light and darkness. The shadowy beast's sudden counterattack hits hard, launching the woman backward through the air. The girl with purple hair clenched her jaw. She looked like she couldn't take much more. She tried to hold it together, but her eyes started to fill with tears. It was the kind of moment where all her effort felt pointless, and even though she was tough, it just got to her. At the same time, someone else steps up to challenge the woman in white. The impact hits hard, and his armored arm breaks apart. A system notification showed up on his screen, letting him know that his god-killing gear had taken some damage. He just stands there, watching as all his high-tech gear falls apart right in front of him. The woman in white stood off to the side, her stare sharpening as she watched what was happening. In her mind, she'd made up her mind. She wasn't going to step in this time. Whatever happened next, he was on his own. The system pops up with a repair option, letting him know that taking down monsters is how he keeps earning. The simulation gave the go-ahead, almost like it was showing off with a confident little flash on the screen. The fighter in the white suit goes head-to-head with her rival, each punch landing hard as sparks of energy fly between them. On the sidelines, her friend with the purple hair stood tense, jaw clenched as she watched the two struggle to break the tie. Someone else steps out from the darkness, just watching the fight without showing any emotion. He stays cool and just tells the fighter it's better to head back. She gets up from the busted-up floor, not ready to give in yet. He tells her she should go back to her post, bringing up someone else who didn't listen to him before. The fighter gets into position, her body covered in bruises and scrapes. Even with all the hits she's taken, her determination doesn't fade for a second. She stays sharp, not backing down, focused on whatever comes next. She looks furious, like she's about to snap. You can tell she's been fighting hard and is just about at her breaking point. He rests his hand on her shoulder, understanding it isn't easy for someone as proud as her to accept losing. He made it clear she couldn't do anything but deal with losing. She drops to her knees, everything hitting her at once. The disappointment is heavy, and it's like she can't hold it up anymore. She presses her hand into the broken floor, completely frustrated. She wipes her eyes, finally letting everyone see that she's given up. She heads back to her spot, still hurting inside but determined not to give up. She decides she's not going to see him again until she's leveled up enough to stand on the same ground as him. Somewhere else in the city, the buildings look plain and almost too clean. Everything feels quiet and kind of empty, nothing like the chaos happening nearby. The girl with purple hair shows up at the women's dorm, but her head's not really in the game. She looks distracted, kind of lost in her own thoughts, barely noticing what's going on around her. She thinks about whether he still remembers her at all, not really sure where she fits in now that everything's changed. When he comes back, everything shifts for her. Suddenly, she's got something real to focus on, making sure he's safe this time. Now she steps up, ready to look out for him, just like he once did for her. Her eyes got big as she remembered a tougher time from her past. He remembered a city that had been destroyed, the kind of place where nothing felt safe anymore. At night, dangerous things moved above, always watching from the darkness. There were these huge alien birds, the kind that used to be in charge when everything was still dark. They were powerful, and everyone knew not to mess with them. In the middle of all the broken pieces and mess, a kid tried to find a safe spot, hoping to stay out of trouble. She saw herself as a kid, all alone and scared, standing in the middle of broken-down buildings. She stared up at the sky, trying to stay out of sight, hoping no one would notice her. Her face is covered in bruises, and even though she tries to call out, no sound comes. She looks up at the monsters, eyes full of desperation, hoping someone or something will help. She crouched behind the old vending machine, hoping no one would notice her. But the spot wasn't as hidden as she thought. Every sound in the hallway made her tense up, and she kept glancing around, worried someone might spot her any second. She hopes something, anything, will come to help her out of this mess with the beast. At this point, she's basically just waiting on a miracle, like hitting up the universe for some last-minute backup. Out of nowhere, a loud sound breaks the quiet. She freezes, fear taking over completely. Her eyes get big with fear when the sound starts coming closer. A huge bird swooped down from the sky, its red eyes locked onto whatever it was hunting. She just stands there, not able to do anything, as one tear rolls down her dirty cheek. Right then, it's like hope just slips away from her. The creature towers above her, its eyes locked on her like it's ready to finish things fast and without mercy. She screams, her voice breaking through the chaos, just as everything around her flashes blindingly bright. Her wind doesn't last long, though. More of the creatures show up right after, closing in fast. A new threat shows up, face hidden behind a mask, and it's clear things are about to get way more dangerous. She's stuck with nowhere to run, just her and the beast. There's no one around to help, and she realizes it's all up to her now. With nobody around to help her, she just shuts her eyes and braces herself, thinking this might really be it. The memory rolls on, showing a sky crowded with huge, scary birds flying above a city that's totally wrecked. Buildings are smashed up, and everything looks abandoned, like nobody's been there in a long time. The whole place feels tense, with those giant birds circling overhead, making it clear things aren't safe. One of the creatures suddenly screams, its strange face twisted with hunger. The creature backed the young girl into a corner. She looked like she was out of options, her chances of getting away slipping fast. Out of nowhere, a bright light bursts through the darkness, giving everyone a reason to believe things might turn around. In the middle of all the chaos, a single warrior drops into the scene. He doesn't say anything, but just by showing up, it's clear he's here to help. His eyes narrow, sharp and focused, like he's gearing up for whatever's coming. There's this fire in his stare, the kind that says he's not backing down, no matter how rough things get. Even if things look bad, he's standing his ground, ready to take on whatever tries to mess with what matters to him. He jumps forward right away, moving so fast he almost disappears into the dark sky. In a flash, a sharp burst of energy tears right through the beast, dropping it instantly. She stood there, covered in what was left of the creature, waiting for something bad to happen, but nothing did. She blinks awake, surprised to see that she's covered in goo instead of just gone. The beast's head hit the ground right in front of her, looking nasty and messed up. Her nightmare was finally over. She just stands there there, frozen, barely able to process what just happened. The monster's last angry roar keeps replaying in her head, making it tough for her to focus on anything else. The guy who saved her just boots the body out of the way, barely even looking at it. He's clearly not done yet. There's more he needs to handle. Shen, now 30 years old, stands there with the calm confidence of someone who's seen a lot. He's not new to battles. He's been through his share, and it shows in the way he carries himself. Even though he comes from another era, he fits right in, ready for whatever comes next. The girl he just saved was only 12, Li Wanwan. After that moment, nothing about her life would ever be the same. He stands alone, watching the sky fill with those flying beasts. Even though he's by himself, he doesn't back down. A bright energy blade forms in his hand, steady and ready as he waits for whatever's coming next. He swings his blade in a wide arc, sending out a bright flash that cuts through the air. It's clear he means business, and anyone watching can tell things are about to get serious. The attack slices right through another beast, one that clearly had no idea what was coming. He turns around and stares at what's left. There's nothing but ruins where the city used to be. It hits him that everything is just gone now. The young girl barely makes a sound, just a soft whimper escaping her. Everything she thought she knew has fallen apart, leaving her stunned and lost. The sky above her is crowded with those same winged predators that wrecked her home. She keeps her eyes on the stranger who just helped her, standing alone while dark clouds start to roll in. He looks over his shoulder at her, determined to make sure this mess finally ends. His eyes narrow, holding back tears and anger as he looks out over the ruined city. He stands still, face set and serious, the loss weighing heavy on him. Even though he tries to keep it together, anyone could see how much this hurts him. He lets out a furious roar, not able to believe these creatures could destroy a whole country. He gathers his strength and pushes off the ground, shooting up into the sky to catch up with them. He promises himself that the aliens won't get away with what they've done. Every person they hurt just pushes him to fight harder. His fist slams into the target, hitting hard and fast. The other guy doesn't even see it coming. He crumples, totally done for, like something that just broke down past fixing. He tears through the group, taking out each creature without slowing down. The monsters freak out, totally outmatched, with no idea how to handle someone this strong. He drifts alone through the broken city, surrounded by a pack of flying monsters. He clenches his fists, anger burning in his eyes. In his mind, he's done with their kind. He wants them all gone, fast and without mercy. Energy bursts all around him, wild and intense. It's like something inside just snapped, and now everything's pouring out, raw, unstoppable, and full of purpose. The first beast gets pulled straight into the swirling fire, disappearing almost instantly. In seconds, there's nothing left but a pile of ash where it used to stand. Another one comes right after, caught off guard at first, but then the pain hits hard as the fire starts to burn. His attack comes down like a storm, blazing from the sky and crashing onto everything below. The leader suddenly panics and yells for everyone to fall back. He just figured out that they messed with the wrong people, and there's no way they're getting out on top this time. The flock doesn't stick around. As soon as things get dicey, they scramble and rush toward a portal someone just opened. They're all pushing and shoving, desperate to get away before anything else goes wrong. A gateway made of golden light shows up, and it's the one chance they have to get away from him. Shen Sun's anger burned hot inside him, impossible to calm down. The invaders rush around, searching for their way out. They're all focused on making it to the gateway that leads to another world. He stands there, yelling up at the sky, making it clear he's not about to let anyone get away. His hand tightened into a fist, energy built up in his arm, buzzing under his skin, ready to burst out. He charges through the battered sky, moving fast and determined, driven by payback. He yells about all the innocent people they've hurt and the soldiers they've taken down. His power bursts out, hitting back hard against everyone who messed with him. This is his way of showing he's done taking their crap. He swoops right into their escape path, skipping any kind of polite entrance. From where he stood, Li Wanwan just stared, frozen in place. He couldn't move or say anything, just watching everything unfold in front of him. Her eyes showed the fierce look from the guy who just saved everything she cared about. She stands there, splattered with the beast's sticky green guts. The stuff drips down her arms and soaks her clothes, clinging to her like a badge she never asked for. He lets out one last blast, pouring out energy so bright and intense it's like looking straight at the sun. Golden light floods everything, unstoppable and fierce, as if he's put everything he's got into this final move. The portal bursts open, blasting the sky wide and sending everything into chaos. The last of the invaders get blasted away, leaving nothing behind but a weird, drifting mist that falls from the sky. She stands there, thinking about her grandmother, and hoping the creature that attacked her is finally out of their lives. He doesn't look proud or happy. Instead, his eyes show how serious he is, carrying the heavy responsibility of what he has to do. He stands alone in the middle of the flames, the last bits of sunlight fading behind him. He checks again, just to be sure. None of them manage to get away from him. A young girl drags herself out from under broken concrete and twisted metal. Everything around her is trashed, like the whole place just fell apart. She's covered in dust, but she's still moving. She made it through whatever hit this place. Her savior touches down in front of her, the fight finally done. A young girl kneels down in the middle of the broken pieces and dust. She closes her eyes, hands pressed together, hoping for something better. She couldn't hold back her tears. They ran down her face, leaving streaks through the dirt on her cheeks. She looked scared and upset, barely able to hold herself together. He lets her know he's going to finish this war, making sure she has time to say goodbye. She drops her gaze to the floor, letting his words sink in. A single drop of the creature's blood lands on her neck and slowly soaks into her skin. Something about it isn't right. It spreads quietly, almost like poison under the surface. The alien energy moves through her veins, heading straight for her heart. Something cold and sharp rushes through her, spreading fast and heading straight for her thoughts. She froze as something weird rushed through her, leaving her lightheaded and stunned. Her eyes went wide, trying to make sense of what just happened. She drops to the ground fast, her body not able to handle what just happened. Something stirred in the back of her mind, almost like someone was nudging her to get up. It was that weird half-awake feeling, where you know you should open your eyes but everything still feels heavy and distant. She finds out that she's the last person alive in the world. She pushes herself up, looking around at what's left of her city. Everything she remembers is broken and scattered, nothing like it used to be. Years back, she got infected by the monster's blood, and since then, everything about her has changed. Something hidden in the darkness showed up, letting her know that the blood inside her had stirred up something powerful, something connected to the gods. Her calm attitude usually kept things under control, but this time, her powers kicked in by themselves to keep her safe. The creature finally showed what it really was, a giant dragon with the body of a snake, going by the name Long. The thing lets her know it's got serious power, saying it can control time itself. Long lets her know that it's in charge of her powers now. He thinks it's not a big deal, considering it's what kept her alive. The device could only mess with time just enough to help her out, and no one else. Lee, still just a kid, holds tight to a piece of red cloth in her hands. She's been crying, and you can see the tears running down her cheeks. Lung explains to her that she's the only one left from a world that's gone. He points out that she should probably feel lucky, even though it's hard to imagine being happy about something like that. All she can think about is how she probably won't see her savior again. A huge dragon-like hand stretches out toward her. Instead of hitting her, it just reaches out and softly wipes the tears from her face. The entity starts to understand that her sadness isn't really about her home being gone. What really hits her is missing someone important who's no longer there. Even though she was hurting, a small hope started to grow inside her. She glances up, her voice shaky, and says she wants to see him. The entity narrowed its eyes, clearly not impressed by what she was asking. It paused for a moment, like it was really thinking things through, trying to figure out if she was serious or just messing around. The warning comes through clearly. She's only got a tiny bit of its power. If she even tries to go back, it could be game over for her. She tightens her fists, standing her ground and showing that she's not scared at all. The ancient being looked satisfied with her response, a small smile showing on its dragon-like face. Her journey kicks off with her taking a big risk, stepping out over the ruins left behind by time. She froze as the entity spoke again, and a sudden chill ran down her spine. The reason behind the cost makes sense now. This journey could wipe her out of existence, messing with the timeline in a way that might take years to fix. The thing delivers its last order to her. If she ever finds him, she can't let herself quit again, no matter what. Tears welled up in her eyes as she nodded, making up her mind to stick with her choice, ready to move forward without looking back. Gives a quick nod, finishing up its job and quietly kicking off her wild journey. She suddenly ends up staring at a whole different place, a city glowing with lights, all metal and glass everywhere she looks. Everything looks completely different from what she remembers. It's almost too much to take in all at once. In the middle of all the noise and people in the city, someone recognizable slips through the crowd. Li Wen wanders around, totally out of place. She's like someone from another time, stuck in a world that makes no sense to her. Everything feels unfamiliar, and she doesn't know where to go. She hangs on to her last bit of hope, scanning the crowd for someone who might help her out. She looks around, taking in all the new faces and the busy noise. Everything seems different and a bit too much, like she's trying to figure out where she fits in this strange place. While she stands there, everyone else just keeps going about their day. People pass by, busy with their own stuff, not even noticing what she's dealing with. It's like she's invisible, her mission totally lost in the crowd. Just then, he spotted someone he recognized moving through the crowd. Her whole face brightens up with real happiness. She finally spots him. The guy standing in front of her isn't the same fighter she remembers. General, one of the top guys in charge, looked over and checked to see if she was okay. Her hope crumbles. All the effort she's put in suddenly feels heavy again, like she's carrying the world on her shoulders and just can't catch a break. She closes her eyes for a second as reality hits her. Deep down, she knows this isn't really him. The general stands in the city square, looking down at the girl on the ground. She looks completely out of place here, broken and out of sorts, while people move around them. Even with all the noise and busy streets, this moment feels weird, like time has slowed down just for them. He reaches out his hand, noticing the other guy looks like someone who's been through battles too. There's this silent understanding between them, and he lets him know he's got his back. His words get her thinking, and suddenly she starts coming up with a new idea. She glances up at him, keeping her cool while she asks if he can help her look for someone. The general freezes for a second, surprised by how straight up her request is. She decides to pay him back by joining the fight, ready to help out however she can in the war. He listens, caught off guard by how direct this girl is. Her idea sounds wild, and he can't help but be curious about what she's really after. She wants to show everyone she's not just talk, so she calls up this strange, dark power that doesn't look like it came from anywhere normal. Out of nowhere, a spinning blast of energy showed up, like a portal to something no one could really explain. The general just stands there, eyes wide, not sure if what he's looking at is real. He keeps staring, trying to figure out if that thing in front of him is actually a portal, or if his mind is playing tricks on him. Li Wanwan stood in front of him, almost like a gatekeeper to a place where everyone seemed to be watching. He knows what it is right away, the crazy powerful summoning ability that everyone talks about and nobody wants to face. Somewhere else, someone was having a low-key talk about how they'd been looking for the main guy for a long time. The girl with purple hair shuts her eyes for a moment. She looks more determined than ever, like she's made up her mind about what to do next. She opens her eyes again, and this time, there's something different about her. It's almost like she's finally figured out what she's supposed to do. There's a new kind of energy in her, and anyone looking at her could tell she's ready to take on whatever comes next. At the same time, another group of women stood together, laughing about something. Their leaders watched with a sly smile, like they were up to something. Back in the city square, Li Wanwan stood with his fist clenched tight. He could feel his energy building up, stronger than before. Behind her, the dark portal started swirling, reacting as if it knew exactly what she wanted. Energy kept spinning in the air, getting bigger by the second. It was wild, impossible to control, and showed just how strong she really was. In another part of town, some women huddled together, quietly talking about Shen. News had spread fast that he suddenly decided not to join the army, and everyone was curious. They traded theories and whispers, their voices low but eager, as if they were sharing the latest trending post about someone famous. The rumor had everyone wondering what could have changed Shen's mind so quickly. One of the girls suddenly gets really angry. She's sure she knows what actually happened when he left, and she isn't holding back about it. Her friends just stood there, surprised and not really sure how to react. None of them expected her to lose her cool like that, and now they didn't know what to do or say. Another woman grabs her phone, looking excited and ready to catch every bit of the gossip. The guys crowd in close, faces twisting as they listen. Even before the story's finished, you can tell they're already grossed out. On his phone, he watches as the woman starts talking, her eyes glistening with fake tears. She tells a story about something that supposedly happened in the past, but it's clear she's just putting on an act. She says what he did got him in trouble with the law, so now he can't sign up for service. Everyone watching her is totally locked in, like they can't believe what they're seeing. Their faces are frozen, wide-eyed and stunned, not a single person looking away. She decides it's finally time to share her story online, wanting everyone out there to know what really happened. Suddenly, the lie catches fire online. Somebody drops a post, and before anyone knows it, everyone's talking about it. It's clear the whole thing was meant to ruin this guy's reputation. The woman finishes her made-up story, breaking down and crying hard. She's clearly upset, blaming Shen for everything as her anger comes out along with the tears. She gets her friends together, turning what started as her own problem into something everyone's talking about and getting involved in. Somewhere else, a woman with bright pink hair stands across from a figure hidden in the shadows. She looks back at her group, signaling for them to help her charge forward. Her eyes lock in, full of determination, and this strong blue glow starts to shine around her whole body. The figure's eyes lit up red, showing how let down he was by people. Out of nowhere, a bright light flashes and hits the dark shape. Back at the usual spot where the girls hung out, one of them leaned in, making it clear she wanted everyone to start talking about the rumor. She was clearly set on making sure the story got around, hoping her friends would help it spread everywhere. Out of nowhere, her phone lights up with a bright flash, shining right at her. The blast knocks her off her feet and throws her all the way across the room. She hits the ground hard, and before she can catch her breath, an alien sniper rat is sitting right on her chest. Looks like payback found her fast. Her friends just stood there, frozen, as everything came to a stop. Their usual gossip got totally interrupted, and nobody knew what to do next. The little creature suddenly lets out a loud roar, its eyes lighting up with anger. The woman isn't moving at all on the floor now. Whatever stories she had been spinning before, they're over, over, thanks to the small assassin who ended it. Late at night, a scream cuts through the darkness. After that, everything goes quiet. The rumor that had been spreading finally hits its breaking point, leaving behind an uneasy silence. The scene shifts back to Li Wanwan's memories, where Long starts talking about what her journey really cost her. The entity leaves her with one last, important order. She can't turn her back on him anymore. She wipes her eyes and nods, deciding to go for it, determined not to look back. The ancient dragon looked satisfied, almost like she'd just finished a tough game and won. With a calm confidence, she started the next part of her journey, not hesitating even though it looked impossible to everyone else. Suddenly, she's standing in a completely different place, staring out at a city that glows with bright lights and shiny metal buildings. Everything looks new and kind of unreal, like something out of a game or a movie. Everything looks totally different from what she remembers. It's a lot to take in, and nothing around her feels familiar anymore. In the middle of a huge crowd, she starts looking for someone, even though it feels like finding one person is pretty much impossible. She sits by herself on the cold stone bench, looking out at a crowd of people she doesn't know. It's like she's invisible, just another face in a place where everyone's busy with their own lives. The air feels chilly, and she can't help but feel separated from everyone else, like she doesn't belong. She doesn't look upset at all. Instead, there's this steady look in her eyes, like she's ready to face whatever comes next. Her eyes look tired, but there was still a spark in them. She couldn't stop thinking about the guy she needed to find. The memory of him seemed to keep her going, even when she was running on empty. She stands off to the side, eyes scanning the people moving past her. She's hoping for something, anything. I'll give her a little hope. Through the blur, he could make out someone standing there, a guy with the same build and features as him. Her face lights up with real happiness. The risk she took actually worked out. As he walks toward her, she notices something off. The guy heading her way doesn't seem like him at all. A 4-star general named walked over, checking if she needed any help. Her hope falls apart as she realizes she didn't make it. The truth hits her hard, and she can't ignore the disappointment that comes with messing up. She shuts her eyes, letting the truth hit her. Whoever this is, it's definitely not him. The general stands in the middle of the city square, staring down at the girl collapsed on the ground. She looks completely out of place here, surrounded by all the noise and people rushing past. He reached out his hand, spotting someone who looked like they'd been through just as much as him. There was this silent understanding between them, as if he was saying he'd help out when things got tough. His words get her thinking, and suddenly she starts to come up with a new plan. She glances up, keeping calm while she asks him to help her look for someone. The general doesn't see it coming. She just puts it out there, straight up. He freezes for a second, not sure what to say or do, clearly thrown off by how bold she is. She decides to repay him by joining the fight, choosing to help out in the war. He listens, curious about what this strange girl just suggested. She wants to show everyone she's not weak, so she calls up this dark power from somewhere far beyond what anyone's used to. Out of nowhere, a spinning tunnel of energy showed up, looking like a doorway to something nobody could explain. The general's eyes got big. He couldn't believe what he just heard. The word portal kept bouncing around in his head like he was trying to make sense of it. Li Wanwen stands there, almost like a bridge between two worlds. Because of him, this weird doorway opens up, and now a bunch of mysterious beings can watch everything happening. He spots it right away, the legendary gift of summoning. That's not something you see every day. Suddenly, he realizes she just leveled up big time. Somewhere else, a girl with purple hair was watching from a distance. She thought about how long she'd been looking for this guy, and now she'd finally tracked him down. She shut her eyes for a second, taking a breath to calm herself down after hearing people talk trash about him. Her eyes fly open, sharp and focused. She knows exactly what she needs to do now. At the same time, the same group that had been spreading rumors earlier were laughing together, not realizing there was something bigger happening behind the scenes. Back in the square, Li Wanwan stands with his fist clenched, barely holding back the power building up inside him. The portal behind her comes alive, dark energy swirling and moving as she controls it. The vortex grows bigger, showing off just how strong she really is. No one watching could question what she can do. The gossip session falls apart fast. The women freak out and run off in different directions, trying to get away as quickly as they can. Everyone starts yelling for the crowd to get out of there fast, but one woman with pink hair doesn't move. While others rush for safety, she stands firm, not backing down at all. She stands there, watching everything happen with a steady look on her face, not showing any nerves. The tiny assassin kept going, making sure no one else would hear those rumors again. It moved quickly and quietly, taking care of things before anyone could even react. The woman with pink hair watched as karma did its thing. She figures the creature's already proven whatever it wanted to show, so she steps in to stop things from going any further. She casually lifts the chubby rat off the ground, making it float in the air like it weighs nothing, even though no one can see what's holding it up. She holds the calm creature in her arms, deciding that things can't go on like this anymore. The gossip is down on the ground, twisting in pain. Her face is all scrunched up, and it's clear she's hurting bad. The pink-haired woman stared straight ahead, her eyes cool and steady as she made up her mind. She didn't flinch or show any emotion, just kept watching, calm and unbothered. With the dark portal spinning behind her, the pink-haired woman just looks at the liar on the ground and brushes him off, staying completely cool about it. The gossip comes back even louder, trying to scare her, and bringing up Shen's name like it's supposed to mean something. She goes around telling everyone she's his girlfriend, making it clear that nobody else should even think about getting close to him. Honestly, it seems like being out of touch with reality is her real strength. The pink-haired woman's face changes, and it's pretty clear she's had enough. Anyone watching could tell she's out of patience now. She taps her foot, but nobody seems to notice. It's her way of signaling she's running out of patience, but everyone just carries on, totally missing the hint. She lets out a sigh and turns away, clearly over it. Whatever's happening behind her just seems like a waste of time, so she doesn't bother sticking around. She stands there looking totally unfazed. It's clear she's already made up her mind about everything. Out of nowhere, something invisible knocks the gossip off her feet. She hits the ground hard and ends up on her knees, totally caught off guard. She freezes, her eyes wide as she realizes what she's done. Fear hits her all at once, heavy and inescapable, and it's clear from her expression that she knows she's messed up big time. All the fake confidence disappeared, and now he was just begging, tears running down his face as he pleaded for someone to help him. She's on the ground now, desperate and scared, scrambling to save herself. All the confidence she had is gone, replaced by panic as she pleads for another chance. The cold floor doesn't help. She looks completely defeated, nothing like the person she was before. The pink-haired woman stared her down, making it clear with her look that she never wanted to hear that name again. The woman's face was bruised and swollen, but even like that, she nodded, showing she'd do what was asked. The mysterious person made their point clear, then turned and walked off without looking back. She slipped inside the building, leaving the liar standing there alone, stuck thinking about where things went wrong. The gossiper's fear didn't last long. Soon, anger started to take over. He clenched his fists, eyes narrowing, already thinking about how he could get back at whoever scared him. She reaches into her pocket and grabs a small device, something she's been saving for emergencies like this when there's no other way out. She holds her finger just above the emergency button, tense and waiting, ready to push it if things get any worse. She quickly grabs her phone and calls the General Bureau of Investigation, pretending to be upset. She turns him in, saying Shen is up to no good, betraying his country and using his power for all the wrong reasons. She tells everyone that Shen's bodyguards came after her, making it sound like she barely got away. The officer on the phone says he'll take care of it and get an official report started. Her call suddenly stops when she gets tossed to the ground again. She grabs her phone and shouts, calling for medics and insisting someone arrest Shen right away. Right in the middle of her rant, someone grabs the phone straight out of her hand. She just lets out a frustrated scream, annoyed and curious about who's bothering her this time. Someone new stepped onto the scene, shutting down the liar fast with a sharp move, a heel landing right where it counted. The whole place went quiet, everyone watching to see what would happen next. The newcomer steps forward, looking totally unfazed. She introduces herself as a captain and doesn't seem bothered at all. Instead of taking the situation seriously, she just brushes it off, saying it's probably just some students messing around. She ends the call right away, not wasting any time or second-guessing herself. The captain clenched her jaw, clearly frustrated that Shen nearly got caught up in some lame rumors. The captain's patience finally runs out. She grabs the liar's phone and squeezes until it cracks, the screen shattering in her grip. Everyone nearby goes quiet, watching as pieces of the phone fall to the floor. The captain doesn't even look back. She just lets the broken phone drop from her hand, her jaw clenched and eyes set straight ahead. She drops the broken pieces and doesn't even try to keep her cool anymore. The woman keeps up her fake drama, trying to push the captain into blaming Shen. Captain Luo doesn't buy the act at all. No matter how dramatic the fake tears get, he just stands there totally unfazed. She doesn't waste time waiting around. She steps in and handles things her way, making sure everyone knows she's not messing around. One kick shuts the guy up right away, cutting off whatever excuse he was about to make. It's pretty obvious there's no point in talking anymore. Customer support? Yeah, that's done for now. Once the trash is out of the way, she grabs her phone, ready to handle whatever comes next. She pulls out her phone and quickly calls someone, asking them to take care of what just happened at the women's dorm. She knew exactly what needed to be done. Every hint of the rumor had to disappear, no matter where it was hiding. Nobody could get near him or find out anything new. She wasn't taking any chances. He listens to the call and the news isn't good. Turns out everyone's already seen the story online. It's blowing up everywhere. Captain Luo's eyes got big when he heard the news. He sat there, not expecting it at all, his mind racing as he tried to process what he'd just learned. She listens to the call, and whoever's on the other end insists she has to come check out what happened in person. She grabs her phone and opens up her social media, scrolling fast through the posts. There it was, a viral post spreading everywhere, finally revealing why he really left. The post shows the same girl she just confronted, her cheeks still wet with tears. She scrolls through the fake story, her stomach turning as she sees the lies about assault and betrayal. At first, she's totally stunned, but that doesn't last long. Her face turns serious, and you can just tell she's done playing around. Now, there's this cold, intense anger in her eyes, like she's ready to do whatever it takes. She pictures the liar on the ground, looking weak and defeated. She looked like she was completely fed up, not holding back at all as she stepped in to set things right. With one hard kick, the truth came out and the liar went down, knocked out of the picture like he never mattered. Her anger gets interrupted when her phone suddenly buzzes with a notification that seems important. Somewhere else, a woman with short hair sat staring at her phone, her face looking serious as she kept scrolling. She notices what's happening and her eyes get big. The mess around her is only getting worse, and she can't help but stare, taking it all in. She checks out a message from the military. Turns out they're sending a 4-star general to handle Shen. She gets it now. If a general messes up in front of everyone, the whole army could lose confidence. Right then, her phone buzzed with an urgent call. Someone on the other end wanted to know if she'd caught the latest news. She hasn't finished reading yet. With her back facing the city lights, she stays quiet, lost in her own thoughts. She hears from the other end that things have actually gotten worse. Now, people are starting a public petition. The plan was pretty clear. Shen had to get kicked out. She wasn't just hoping for luck either. In her hand, she was holding a golden card, something that could actually make it happen. The card started to glow, brighter than anything he'd seen before. It looked like it was packed with serious power, almost like it was meant to help when things got way out of hand. Captain Luo stands at her post, steady and alert. The night feels heavy, everyone on edge, but her voice comes through loud and clear, snapping everyone to attention. Her shadow stretches over a huge digital screen while she starts putting her plan to work. She figures it's time to call in a favor, so she drops her family name to get some backup. She tells everyone to leave quietly, getting ready for the storm that's about to hit. The voice on the phone makes it clear. Shen Qingshun's own crew wanted him out. She looks back at the guy who just got caught lying. He's quiet now, and seeing him like that really hits her. This whole thing is serious. She keeps it straightforward. She just tells them to get rid of the body and make sure no one finds out what happened. She gives the signal, then walks straight into the spinning portal like it's nothing. Somewhere else in the city, a guy in a trench coat moves down empty streets. It's late and hardly anyone's around, so every step echoes off the buildings. He keeps his head down, not really wanting to be noticed, as he makes his way through the quiet city. He paused and glanced up at a futuristic tower. Nobody really knew what he was doing there yet. Shen Jingsun keeps his eyes on her, his face giving nothing away. The warrior, clearly beaten, says his name. Her voice sounds weighed down, like she's lost something important. Later, as he walked along, something suddenly landed near his feet, snapping him out of his thoughts. He grabs it easily and shows a small plain card in his hand. The fighter in the white suit handed over her ID and let him crash at her place for the night. She decides she won't come back until she's ready to stand on the same level as him. He nods and gives her a quick thanks, keeping his voice low. He ends up right in front of the women's dorm. Not exactly what he planned, but hey, at least he found a place to crash. He grabs her and heads straight in, swiping it like he's done it 100 times before, not even slowing down as the doors unlock for him. He walks into the elevator, not really sure where he'll end up yet. Once he's finally by himself, he just stands there in the silent elevator, letting the calm settle in for a bit. He uses the chance to check if everything's working right. Just then, the system let him know that his divine 100 kills skill had leveled up. He noticed a new talent had unlocked, and he couldn't help but feel a bit pumped, curious about what this upgrade would let him do next. He notices he's getting stronger quicker than he thought he would. He's pretty sure it won't be long before he's back to his best. He looks at the screen in front of him and 3 options pop up. Each one is crazier than the one before. They aren't just cool. They could actually change everything for him if he picks right. While the elevator kept moving up, he reached out and hit the button for the 33rd floor. He grins and goes for the 3rd most powerful option, not hesitating for a second. He watched as the light for the 33rd floor switched on. That was it. His choice was made, and there was no turning back now. The elevator glides up quietly, taking him to where he needs to go. He gets set to try his new power, focusing hard as he gives it a shot. Blue energy started spinning around Shen as he tried out his new power. It looked wild, almost like something from a video game, and he could feel the force building up around him. Testing this ability was risky, but he couldn't help feeling a bit hyped to see what would happen next. He looks into a weird, otherworldly space, where tons of tiny lights float all around. He reaches out and picks one of the glowing orbs from the group, deciding on that one over all the others. Suddenly, the orb lights up, glowing bright like a tiny sun. It pulses with pure energy, filling the room with a sharp, intense light that grabs everyone's attention. Out of the light, a giant, ghostly warrior appears right in front of him. The elevator doors slid open. His secret summoning was over, and he stepped out, trying to act normal even though his mind was still racing. He walks into a fancy penthouse suite with huge windows, able to see the whole city spread out below him. He looks around and suddenly gets it. This isn't just one room, it's the whole floor. Turns out his new roommate has serious money. The shadow of his new guardian stretched across the doorway behind him. The spectral warrior jumped up, hanging in the air for a moment as it waited to see what its master would do next. The ghostly figure of the warrior shows up in the glass, like someone from a long time ago. Shen stands at the edge, looking out across the city. Everything seems familiar, but something about it feels different now, like it's changed in ways his guardian just doesn't get anymore. The ancient warrior looks around, taking in everything. He wonders if this weird new place is really where he ended up. The world around him doesn't match anything he remembers, and he's trying to figure out if this is actually his world or if something went wrong. It's a lot to process, and he can't help but question what's real. The two stood quietly across from each other. One was clearly the boss, the other just an assistant, both looking like they belonged in some old story people barely remembered. Lets everyone know that their time is over, and it's now up to the next generation to take charge. The guardian stands there, taking in everything his master just said. It's a lot to think about, and he can't help but let the words sink in, trying to figure out what comes next. He starts to show Shen what the world used to look like. Suddenly, old memories and images fill Shen's mind, places full of life, colors brighter than anything he's seen before, and people everywhere, laughing and going about their day. For a moment, Shen almost forgets where he is, caught up in the way everything used to be. The city looked alive and busy, full of tall buildings and bright lights. Everywhere you looked, people were moving around, cars zipped through the streets, and giant screens lit up the night. It was the kind of place that showed just how far people had come, with everything looking sharp and new. He saw peaceful mountains covered in snow, looking just as they always had, completely untouched. He suddenly saw a winding river stretching out across a calm, green landscape. The place looked peaceful, like somewhere people would actually want to live. It almost felt like his new summon was showing off, trying to sell him on this perfect spot. The ancient warrior just stands there, totally frozen. He looks around, trying to take in everything. The crowds, the bright lights, the non-stop noise. None of this makes sense to him. It's way different from anything he's ever known, and he's not sure how to process it all. He stands in front of his new master, looking like someone pulled straight out of an old story and dropped into the present. Ran Min was known as a legendary warlord from 2,000 years back. He made his name as a hero by standing his ground against invaders, fighting until the very end. Back in time, he runs straight through a battlefield, flames everywhere. He's on his own but doesn't slow down, pushing forward like nothing can stop him. Starts thinking back to an old legend, a story about a warrior whose name people kept talking about for years. The warlord doesn't bother with any fancy introductions. He just steps forward, ready to back up the person who called him. He checks out the modern suite, noticing how everything looks different from what he's used to. The furniture has weird shapes, and there are gadgets he's never seen before. He walks around, taking it all in, a little unsure but curious about what all this stuff does. He can't help but stare at a photo, something that just doesn't make sense to him. It almost feels unreal, like it shouldn't even exist, but there it is, right in front of him. He looks at the portrait, noticing how real it seems, and thinks about how much time has gone by. He wonders if anyone out there still thinks about him, but Shen shuts it down fast, just saying no, like it's no big deal. That answer stings, making it clear he's pretty much faded from everyone's memory. Sun thinks about how time just keeps moving, and even the biggest heroes eventually fade from everyone's memory. The warlord isn't ready to give up just yet. Even in this strange new world, he wonders if there's anyone out there who still remembers who he is. Shen's son lays it all out, not sugarcoating anything. People don't look back on him as some great hero. Instead, they remember him as a tyrant, the kind of leader everyone warns you about. The ancient warrior's life flips upside down as he watches everything he built get turned into something he barely recognizes. His name, once respected, is now tied to something dark, and the weight of that change hits him hard. Now, whenever people hear his name, all he gets are angry looks and harsh words. The legendary hero just stands there, frozen. All those stories he believed for 2,000 years suddenly feel heavy, like everything he thought he knew is falling apart right in front of him. He starts to doubt himself, thinking about whether everything he did, even fighting and losing his life, was pointless. While he pours himself a drink, Shen steps in, giving just a little bit of hope. He says he remembers exactly what happened during that old, important battle. The warlord's eyes light up for a second as he realizes his master is completely aware of everything going on. The warlord can't believe what he's hearing. His voice wavers, showing how badly he wants this to be true, even though he's not sure if he should trust it. You can hear that tiny bit of hope in the way he talks, but it's fighting with all the doubt he's been carrying. He stands by the window, his reflection barely there, like he doesn't really belong in this world. He looks like a fighter who doesn't know where he's supposed to be, stuck somewhere between past and present. He heads to the kitchen, looking for something to drink. It's not much, but grabbing a soda is one of the few normal things left for him right now. The two of them stand side by side, one clearly in charge and the other ready to follow. They look out over everything, knowing it's up to them to keep this place safe. Shen interrupts before the other guy can say anything else. He points out that they're both heading in the same direction, but makes it clear he doesn't need anyone checking up on him or trying to make him feel better. He thinks the legendary hero has been getting off too easy, and it's about time someone called him out. The ancient warrior lifts the cup and tries the drink. It's nothing like what he's used to. This is the flavor of a world that's moved on for 2,000 years without him. He lets out a laugh, thinking about how weird it is that, as a spirit, he can't actually get drunk with his new master. Even though he tries to join in, it's just not the same for him. Shen watches carefully, showing respect as he picks up the bottle and starts to pour the drink. He sets it down on the ground, hoping to show some respect for the hero whose real story nobody remembers anymore. The warlord thinks about how enemies have taken over his homeland, showing no respect for what's left behind. Inside, he's determined to drive them out, no matter what it takes. He shouts, letting everyone know that there will always be kings ready to give everything for their people. Somewhere else, a tall, high-tech tower lights up the dark sky. The two warriors just sit there, not saying a word. Even though they don't talk, something passes between them, like they both get what the other's thinking, even though they come from totally different times. In another room, a woman with pink hair notices that same dragon-like being show up again. Long is the first to notice something weird going on with time. He can tell things aren't moving like they should, and it's starting to get pretty risky. The woman glanced up, her eyes showing she was worried and unsure about what would happen to her next. He lets her know there's no way for her to go back, but all this craziness is the perfect chance for restless spirits to show up. Long let her know she could relax. He pointed out that honestly, he'd never even seen her catch any sleep. She glances down, kind of sorry, but the ancient dragon just brushes it off, not making a big deal about it. Thinks back to how, out of everything he's dealt with, looking out for her when she was younger and more vulnerable was always the toughest part. Protecting her used to be his biggest challenge. The dragon-like creature lets him know that time has changed for good, and there's no way to turn things back to how they were. He shows off by opening a swirling portal straight into her room. It's definitely not your average way to show up. Because of the way time changed, Shen didn't end up joining the army. The plan was for them to meet again in a year, but he couldn't wait that long. He decided to go his own way, changing everything. The ancient dragon's hand started to glow with a weird light, something that didn't look like anything from this world. He holds out a glowing orb to her, giving her a chance to decide what comes next. This could seriously change where her life goes from here. He remembers how dedicated she was, going out of her way and traveling really far just to see him, even if it was only for a little while. She looked down, still thinking about how no one noticed what she'd given up. It lingered in her mind, making her feel heavy inside. She thinks about how he never recognized her, but deep down, she knows it's not really his fault. No matter what, she can't bring herself to be mad at him for it. She never really wanted to ask him for anything else. She can see that he's really trying his best to turn things around. Long hears what's being said, and for once, his old face actually shows he didn't expect it. He wonders if she's ever thought about what would happen if things don't work out for her this time. The question just sits there, almost like time slowing down between the girl and the god. Neither of them moves or says anything, both just stuck in that moment, waiting to see what'll happen next. He lets her see a memory from before, when they were both standing close together under one umbrella. The world around them was quiet, just the two of them sheltering from the rain. Shen, back when he was younger, had this look in his eyes that showed how sad he really was. Back then, just felt empty, like there was nothing left inside him. Honestly, it was kind of like going through one of those emo phases people joke about online. Turns out, stuff like that never really goes out of style. Li Wanwan's face goes serious, and you can tell she's not backing down. Her eyes stay focused, and it's obvious she's made up her mind. She turns her back, looking like she's already made up her mind. Whatever happens next, she's set to face it. Li Wanwan was lying in bed, wide awake. Her thoughts kept spinning, and she couldn't stop thinking about everything that might happen next. Long showed up looking more like a person this time. He was the god of time, and he had something important he needed to do. He pulls the blanket over her, moving carefully, like he's done this 100 times before. Even though he's way older than he looks, tonight he just seems like someone who's looking out for her. Her eyes look tired and sad, showing just how tough her journey has been. He realizes he came on too strong and says sorry. He promises that he'll take her to see Shen tomorrow. After making his promise, the ancient entity turns away and steps into his portal, getting ready to leave. The portal closed behind her, and suddenly she was standing by herself in the silence of the night. As he walks away, something weird hangs in the air, a thin, dark shape twisting around almost like smoke but heavier. It just floats there for a second, barely moving, then slowly starts to fade. In the darkness, a deep red eye slowly appeared, locked onto her every move. It was like someone was always watching, kind of like having a security camera that never blinks. Finally gets some sleep, not knowing there's someone quietly keeping an eye on her. She tries to convince herself that it doesn't matter if he doesn't remember her from before. She's totally open to starting fresh with him, ready to see where things go and find out who he is now. She closes her eyes, that good thought still in her head. Soon, she's asleep, looking peaceful with a small smile. Long watched her closely, noticing how much she had changed since those days in the ruins. She wasn't that scared little kid anymore. The entity feels pretty sure that Shen will take an interest in her this time. He thinks about how lucky Shen must be, like he must done something amazing before to end up with something this good. The next morning, sunlight spreads across the Great Wall of China. The old stones catch the early light, stretching out over the hills. Everything looks calm and quiet, almost like the world is taking a deep breath before the day really starts. The old monument still stands, showing everyone just how much history this place has seen. Some students from Imperial University were walking together, their sneakers echoing off the old stone paths. It seemed like they were on a school outing, checking out the historic campus. They look out at the view, totally caught up in how awesome it looks. Everyone's pulling out their phones, wanting to snap a quick pic to remember it later. While most of the class seemed caught up in the view, one student stood out. He looked annoyed, his expression making it obvious that he wasn't having a good time. He couldn't take it anymore. The noise from his classmates was just too much, and all that loud joking around pushed him over the edge. All of a sudden, he lost his cool and yelled at everyone, just wanting them to cut it out. He starts talking to everyone, making sure they understand how much depends on them. The way he says it, you can tell he wants them to realize that everything about their world's future is in their hands now. His words really got to them. The students started thinking seriously about the war that was about to happen. Everything suddenly felt a lot more real, and nobody was joking around anymore. His words hit home, and suddenly everyone in the group stands up a little. You can see it in the way they look at each other. They're ready to get back to work, fired up with a new sense of purpose. While the speaker kept talking, a guy sitting in the back just rolled his eyes and brushed it off, clearly not impressed. He looked at the speaker like he didn't take him seriously at all. He moves ahead, determined to show the motivational speaker he's not impressed. He smirked, looking pretty pleased with himself, like he knew something no one else did. He gives the speaker a hard look, clearly challenging him to keep talking. It's obvious he doesn't think the speaker has the guts to back up his words. He freezes, caught off guard when it hits him that someone actually heard his quiet complaining. The challenger darts forward, barely visible as he rushes in. 1 second he's across the floor, and the next he's right up close, closing the gap before anyone can react. He messes with the guy, acting like his sharp hearing won't help him this time. Something bigger is coming, and it's clear he thinks the other guy isn't ready for it. Lee freezes for a moment when his opponent suddenly lets out this intense energy. It catches him off guard, and he just stands there, not sure what to do next. He's stunned. Wei was always just some small-time troublemaker, never anyone people took seriously. Wan Wei can't help but smirk, his confidence showing. He's discovered his own special abilities since coming here, and now he's ready to see what he can really do. All the other students just freeze, staring with wide eyes as the news sinks in. Nobody knows what to say. Everyone's just stuck, taking it all in. He likes to brag about how he's got bat powers now, claiming his hearing is so sharp that nobody else comes close. It's clear his confidence shot up along with his new abilities. He moved fast through the shadows and took Lee down without breaking a sweat. He feels pretty proud of himself, thinking he doesn't need any special powers since his hearing is sharp enough to catch even the quietest whispers from far away. He wanted to show he wasn't joking around, so he let loose a surge of energy that hit Li Nu right in the chest. Wan Wei's power knocks another student off his feet, sending him crashing backward across the floor. The hit is no joke. Everyone around takes a step back, eyes wide, realizing just how strong Wan Wei really is. The room goes quiet, and for a second no one's sure what to do next. The boy slams into the Great Wall, hitting it so hard that the old stones actually start to crack. He gets tossed right off the edge, falling fast toward the ground way down below. His classmates stand frozen, their eyes wide as they stare at what just happened. None of them move or even breathe for a second, because it really looks like someone just got killed right in front of them. The student falls, yelling out one last time. Even as he drops, there's this stubborn look in his eyes, like he's not backing down, no matter what. He reaches out fast, barely grabbing the edge of the wall just in time. He grabs onto the stone, but his hand starts to bleed. The pain is real, but he hangs on, not ready to give up. His fingers start to slide, and his grip gets weaker as gravity keeps dragging him down. He can't hold on any longer, and suddenly his body slips away, dropping out of sight over the edge. So much for this field trip going well. His backpack drops and disappears into the darkness below, the last sign anyone has of the student who fell. But when his backpack hit the ground, it didn't thud like he expected. Instead, there was a weird flash of light. Wan Wei leans in, trying to catch any noise, but all he gets is silence. He waits, listening hard, but nothing happens. The quiet just hangs in the air, and it starts to get to him. He quiets everyone down, letting the silence settle around him as he soaks in the moment, acting like like he's already won. He starts telling a story, saying that Lee acted like a coward just like Shen. Most of the other students, too scared to speak up, just go along with whatever the bully says, even if it makes no sense. Wanwei quickly makes up a story, telling everyone that they're both secret agents. He hopes this will distract people and help him hide what he's really done.
Lately, I've had a strong addiction to watching manhwa and manga recap videos. Every single day, I find myself binging one after another, losing hours and days doing absolutely nothing productive. And honestly, it's getting out of hand. So, maybe we can make these viral videos too. I mean, look at the views, the growth, the community these creators are building. It looks simple, right? But that's a trap. You go down this endless rabbit hole, spending money, losing sleep, hiring editors and writers from Fiverr and Upwork, and still feel like you've been robbed. Because don't forget how emotional the YouTube algorithm can be with making videos go viral. It's unpredictable, especially when the market's saturated, competition's relentless, and somehow other creators are dropping 10-hour videos daily while you're stuck trying to finish one. That's when I realized something had to change. So, I built the solution, the Webtoon Narrative Suite, a complete one-click system that handles everything from cropping, script narration, text-to-speech, image processing, and full video generation in one smooth process. Save money, reduce hours of work, and have a tool that only gives you straight results. Click on the link down below and experience it for yourself. And if you want even more tools to supercharge your YouTube recap journey, visit my Ko-Fi and Patreon pages where I drop weekly new tools designed to keep you ahead as AI continues to steal our jobs. So tap in now before you get left behind.